on. The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
I suppose we should get going.
Yeah!
Let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I guess we should do it.
Let's be honest, you've missed us.
I guess we should just do this little radio show.
Oh, man.
I guess we should just come back to work so we can make some green. I guess we should just try to encourage and make you guys laugh, because that's what we do. We're just a bunch of rodeo clowns to you. Hey, good morning. What's going on, guys? We're live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We're back. It's Tuesday. 3-day weekends always throw us off, even though we love them so much. But yeah, they throw you off, right? I just feel so out of balance right now. Do you feel out of balance?
I mean, last night I took part in my fantasy football draft.
Nice.
I was able to do some things over the weekend around the house.
Did you pay your money in the fantasy football?
Yeah, we're not doing a money league.
Oh, that's good.
To the dismay of Nathan Heitzig. You know, some of us don't make that green, you know. So.
What do you guys? What do you win?
Well, the loser has to take the SAT.
What? To take the SAT? Yeah. Okay.
The loser actually has to sign up and take the SAT.
Oh.
We're trying to better people, okay? So if you're terrible at fantasy football, maybe you'll be better at life, you know?
Is that Nate's idea?
So that was not. I feel like it was Phoenix's, because he's probably going to get last place. And then he's just going to take the SAT and smoke everybody.
Gosh.
So,
I hated taking the SAT. It's the worst.
I only took the ACT. I never took the SAT, so maybe
I did take the ACT.
Maybe I'll
or maybe it was the CTE.
There's no way I'm going to lose, guys. I got Aaron Rodgers in like the 3rd round. I'm going, what's going on, guys? You guys aren't picking quarterbacks here. Why no quarterback? I think 4th round, actually.
Wow. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, man.
Looking pretty good. Vader Nation.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was trying to find like a Raiders Darth Vader photo, but it won't let me do it. Come on, ESPN. Get with the times. It's 2018.
I was reading this morning. There was an article USA Today put out.
Mm-hmm.
They did an article on how fantasy football is huge in prisons all over the United States.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
Yeah, well, prisoners, there are prisoners out there that actually have Wi-Fi. They have internet access.
Really?
Some have limited internet access.
Okay.
Some don't have access at all.
Makes sense.
Obviously, gambling isn't allowed, so it happens on the sly. But they say fantasy football is still pretty popular in jails all over the country. O.J. Simpson was in 4 different leagues while he was locked up in Nevada, and he also ran one of them.
What?
Michael Vick has talked about giving fantasy advice to other inmates while he was locked up.
Okay.
And without the internet, they have to rely on box scores in newspapers.
I remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day because I had a league that we started back in like 2000. And I mean, offline, we would do the draft together. It was fun. This year we retired that one. And I was like, I'm never playing fantasy football ever again. And then Paul and Steven and everybody were
You guys
like,
get sucked in.
seriously, you guys, let's do this. And I'm like, dang it, it's the mob. I'll never quit you.
Yeah. So, they rely on box scores, newspapers, letters, phone calls to family members, handwritten spreadsheets. They say it takes a while, but
that's commitment.
Obviously, you have plenty of time in jail.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got time on your hands, so nothing but time.
They say a lot of prisons try to stop it because if gambling's involved, it can make things even more dangerous. But some officials say it adds a sense of camaraderie. Guys,
or camaraderie.
That's what I said. And guys who normally never talk will hang out and compare stats. So it's just bringing these inmates together. Just bonding, forming friendships. You know,
If they need any advice, we could start a prison ministry, like a fantasy
Prison,
football
yep.
prison ministry. You
Yep.
know, I had the 7th pick in the draft, so I saw like kind of where people were trending. Le'Veon Bell did not go first. He went second.
Wow. Did you make sure and get the 7th pick? Remember? What did they say? The 7th pick
Isn't
was
that funny? And I got the 7th
You
pick.
got the 7th pick.
I got the 7th
See, they
pick.
say that's the best pick.
What's interesting is our commissioner, Paul, who happens to be on Facebook Live right now, somehow had the first pick in the draft.
You don't want the first pick. You don't want the first pick.
You do when Todd Gurley's on the board.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Todd Gurley, huh?
yeah,
No idea who that is.
it's okay. It's okay.
So, yeah, prison life isn't as bad as we think it is.
Well, I wouldn't say that just because they have fantasy football.
Yeah.
Imagine what happens when fantasy football ends. It's like, well, now what?
They have their own fantasy prison where they try to guess who gets shanked next. I don't know.
Oh, my
I mean, I'm
gosh,
just
that's
guessing.
terrible.
I know, but I'm just saying. You know?
I thought maybe it'd be like, who gets released early for
Could be
time
that.
served
Could be
because
that.
you're, what are they called when you like, you're good or whatever, and then it's like, time well spent or whatever they call it. Good behavior.
Good behavior, yeah.
Got out early for good behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they go, guys. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
You know, who's going to get busted for drugs?
Oh.
Is Eddie going to get busted again?
Oh, Eddie, dude, I wish he'd just give it up, man.
Who's going to make it back?
That's how he got here in the first place.
Who gets out and who is coming back first? Oh, man. Telling you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You guys can be a part of the show. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube at Star 88 FM. Just search us. You can watch the show and hang out with us. Also, phone lines open 505-338-3700. And you guys can text into the show. We got a live line. What's the number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483. Guys, Labor Day weekend, no more white. Is this okay then? I just realized I'm wearing gray. You're wearing a white T-shirt. Is that acceptable? It's post-Labor Day.
Well, now you can't tell.
Okay.
It's under my hoodie.
Dude, Labor Day, it's come, it's gone, and you and I are heading out to the New Mexico State Fair to set up because life is happening too fast.
When do we have to do that?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay, good. I have a doctor's appointment today, so I wouldn't be able to go with
Yeah,
you.
we're going tomorrow. I hope you paid attention to that staff meeting this last Friday where we learned about our next 3 weeks of life.
Yeah, well, we just drop off the stuff. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's in my contract.
Dropping off the goods.
You have to actually drive me, and I'll help you unload it, and then
Except
you can drive
Collective
me back.
Soul's playing, so I will definitely be out at the New Mexico State Fair.
See them? Who wants to see them?
Heaven let your light shine down. Come on.
No.
I'm going.
No.
I'm going.
I wouldn't go. That show is free.
Well, it is for us. It's happening, guys. The State Fair is already happening the 6th through the 16th. It's their 80th anniversary. They're so old.
Get out of here.
State Fair, you were so old.
Get out of here with that.
Besides, I want to go scope the scene because Jack's at that age where this weekend he was like, hey, bro, he never calls me bro. Daddy, the school's going to go to the State Fair this weekend. Can I go? And I'm like, no. And he's like, but come on, can't you just trust me not to die? And I'm like, I trust you. I don't trust everybody else at the State Fair.
You know, put some
It's the
Kevlar
State
on him.
Fair.
Put some Kevlar.
No.
Get a bulletproof backpack. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
He'll
no.
learn how to really survive.
In real life, I mean, concerts, rodeos, there's dust and mud and the bulls and the blood. And
Yeah, but you're right. The State Fair is no joke here. It's not like other fairs around the country. We're talking Albuquerque, New Mexico.
yeah, bro.
This place is dangerous.
It's dangerous.
This place is hardcore.
Not during the day, though.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah. So, anyways, I actually do really like the State Fair because it showcases how diverse we are as far as culturally. Because you can go oh, here's them cowboy people over at the agricultural area, and then over here it's that super rad native area, and it's they're doing the cool flute stuff and the dances, and you're going, this is dope.
Do you ever? Because I honestly think every single person that goes to the fair says this every year to themselves. Because I have. Every time I've been out there, I always ask myself, how is it that people afford to come to the fair?
Yeah.
It's so expensive. And how do people afford it?
I mean,
And how do they take all their kids?
well,
And how
I
does-
mean, there's like $1 day. There's like $2 day.
it's always
There's like
packed.
the school day. There's like all these different days. So you just got to be smart about it. Come on, bro. Dave Ramsey that in your brain.
It's the government. If do you qualify for like free fare
For
rides?
state fair assistance.
If you make if your income is below like 20 grand a year or something. I mean, is there something I just don't know about?
There must be.
I just don't get it.
Everybody's talking about deep fried air.
Deep fried air.
Mm.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
How was your guys' Labor Day weekend? Did you guys do anything fun? Anything cool to talk about? You guys chime in. Coming up at 9, who do we have on the show? We have a guest.
Dude, I am really, really looking forward to today. I read his book over the weekend, and huge fan of Chris Hewett's. Christopher Hewett wrote a book called The Sacred Enneagram, along with a few others. This dude is a monk, if you will. He was actually here this weekend. If you are a fan of the Enneagram, you definitely don't want to miss this. And if you've never heard of the Enneagram, you definitely don't want to miss this. It's one of those tests that I took and was going, is this cool or is this going to be stupid? Am I really going to enjoy this? What is it? Is it like a personality test? What is it? And so he's an International Enneagram Association professional. He studied under Mother Teresa for years. He's just one of the kindest dudes in the world. And so this morning we're going to talk about your path to spiritual growth, because not everybody's path is the same as far as like digging into the word and praying and who I'm created to be and why was I created and what is my purpose. And this dude's really rad at like helping you. Like he's almost like a compass, just kind of like, hey man, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what are your quirks? What are your whatevers? What are you on this Enneagram scale? Okay, cool. Now I feel like these are your tendencies. These are these things. It's him and my buddy Ryan from Sleeping at Last were part of a podcast, and seriously listening to it, I was going, this guy has known me my whole life. This is really weird.
Yeah.
Like I was uncomfortable, man. So I'm really looking forward to talking to him this morning, 9 o'clock.
How do you feel about when people say, I'm called to fill in the blank? I'm called to sell everything and move across the country and live on the mission field.
Woo!
How do you feel about that? I'm called to.
Well, I mean, that's obviously between them and the Lord, because I don't want to diss anyone, but there have been times where I could immediately go, absolutely. You know what? That's crazy. That's cool that God's called you to that. Because something like that, where all of a sudden they sell everything they own and they go halfway across the world and they're like doing mission work and they're living it. It's like, yeah, like the dude we talked about from Haiti, the doctor. I can see that. And then sometimes it's like you're trying really hard to make it on the worship team, but you're terrible. But you just know you're called to worship ministry. And it's like, but are you?
Yeah, right. I read this pretty interesting article about that. This girl, she had, I think, graduated college, and she felt like she was called to sell everything and move to China.
Oh, man.
And so she did it. She's like, oh my gosh, this is
I'm
great because I
doing
feel
it.
like God, this is exactly where God wants me. I'm called to be right here. Well, she fell in love with somebody back home. And so then she's sitting there on the mission field in China, but the love of her life is back in the States.
It's a test, bro.
And so she's going, well, I feel like God's calling me to him. Wait a second, but I'm called over here, and he doesn't want anything to do with missions. So what do I do? And so there was this, so she chose him, and so she got back, and she said the relationship is amazing, and it's blossoming, and she feels like this is what God wants, but at the same time, she feels like she abandoned this calling she had on her life.
But if she was called to this dude, then that was her calling. See, that's why.
Yeah, but
I
it's so
think I think we
confusing,
can,
right?
Well, I think we can overuse the word calling.
Right. I think that's exactly where I'm going with this is, well, what if your calling is just to go out and love people and just show Jesus who he is and what love is?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be, oh, I'm called to go there, when in fact, no matter where you're at, you should just be doing it.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is you look, and I literally just Googled what's your calling. And Oprah came up, Forbes came up, Tiny Buddha came up, I Believe came up, Mind, Body, Spirit came up, BYU came up, Christianity Today came up. Literally the gamut of
New Age.
well, everywhere, all over, not even just New Age. Because look, Buddha, there's from BYU, that's, you know, more of a Mormon slant. Christianity Today, obviously, Christian slant this way. So you can literally look and go, well, I'm going to read all of these and find my calling through Oprah and Forbes magazine and Buddha. And I'm going, dang, dude, that's just the first page of Google.
Right.
Like everyone clearly is searching for their purpose, for their calling. And that's actually why I'm excited to talk to Chris today, because his isn't one of those where it's like, I'm going to tell you your calling. It's just, hey, I'm going to help you discover who you are in Christ, because that in turn can help you. Because I think sometimes we really, 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 really want to do something, but we're not gifted in any way, shape, or form in that area, or called in any way in that area. And but we put our pride or whatever, and we just kind of force it, and it doesn't seem to work out a lot of the times, you know? Of course, there are other times where it's like, seemingly that person doesn't have a calling in that area or gifting in that area or whatever it may be, and then they go and they put the work in and they end up crushing it because they just wanted to do that, you know? So
what are people saying on the live line?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483. Somebody said, because you're not in China currently doesn't mean you won't ever be back ministering there, though. So
yeah, but this guy clearly doesn't want to go out on the mission field. He's not for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that
was the thing.
Story.
Because she was trying to get the guy to go to China, and he's like, it's not my thing. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to China. I wouldn't want to go to China. I don't even know if I want to visit China. Seriously. You know how lost I would be in China? I'd be completely lost.
Yeah.
And I hear the Chinese food isn't even like the Chinese food we eat over here.
Britt says she knows her calling, that it's to bug Seth for the rest of her life.
Poor Seth.
Yeah.
Poor Seth, man.
That is a calling.
All right.
That is your gifting. Your gifting is bothering people.
What do you think, guys? When you think about what your calling is, something to think about. You guys can chime in. Would love to hear from you. Phone line's open, 505-338-3700. Hanging out on Facebook and YouTube Live at Star 88 FM. We got to take a quick break. Good morning, everybody. We'll be right back. Hang on.
A Star 88 Supernova. Here's Rick Warren.
God says, I want you to live a life of significance, a purpose-driven life, a life of meaning. And how do you do that? By applying yourself to do good deeds and helping others who have urgent needs. He takes small steps. Isaiah 1, learn to do good, work for justice, help the down and out, stand up for the homeless, go to bat for the defenseless. Now, every one of those things you can do right here. You see, God's vision for your life is both global and local. You need bifocal vision. And when we talk about God's vision for your life in the peace plan, it's not just something way over there in another country. It's something right here. It's not about location. It's about dedication.
Catch Rick Warren's Daily Hope on KNKT 107.1 weekdays at 7:30 a.m. Carl Lentz on a solar flare. Who you are is not defined by what you do, but it is defined according to who Jesus is to you. That's a solar flare on Star 88. Kaepernick makes it come alive in this Star PowerPoint.
One thing that God has been challenging me with is we've written books and received publishing and royalties and different investments that Holly and I have had through the years is, do you still trust me like you did when you gave me your emergency fund? Because you had the stones to give away your, the confidence and the courage to give away your, your whole emergency fund. And I'm not saying that you should do that today, but will you still trust God at this level? Will you still trust at that same level when you gave more toward the offering one year than your house? You still trust me like that? Because then it gets difficult. And so then you have people who have little trusting God in big ways and people who have a lot not doing what they could, and then the ministry can't move forward. It's going to take leadership from everybody that God speaks to.
That's a PowerPoint on Star 88.
Hey, what's going on in the news today?
Tropical storm Gordon bringing heavy rain and gusty winds to Florida.
President Trump launching new attacks on his own attorney general,
criticizing Sessions about the indictment of 2 Republican congressmen ahead of the midterm elections.
Pope Francis called for silence in response to allegations that he kept quiet when told that a cardinal was guilty of sex abuse.
At least 6 states are under flood watches or advisories.
Overseas, a U.S. service member has been killed in what military officials call an apparent insider attack in Afghanistan.
Colin Kaepernick is not on an NFL roster, but he does have a new contract. He'll be the face of Nike's ad campaign for the 30th anniversary of its Just Do It slogan.
Helicopters and divers desperate to find 3 people still missing after 2 boats collided head-on in the Colorado River along the Arizona-California border.
DeChambeau, his 3rd victory in his last 9 PGA Tour starts. Victory, and with it, he will be the #1 seed in Atlanta for the Tour Championship.
Gotta turn my mic on. Good morning. What's going on, guys? Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Dex, Steve-O, good morning. Just launching into September. September 4. How was everybody's Labor Day weekend? You guys get caught up on some rest? I did. I mean, I got to sleep in a little bit. Lucky. Kind of lounged around, binged watched a couple new shows.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. I need to do that. I need to lounge around.
Yeah, man. You have to.
Yeah.
Got to take some me time.
Didn't get to do much of that. I labored on the day.
Mm-hmm. You guys can be a part of the show. You can chime in 505-338-3700. And we're live on YouTube and Facebook at Star 88 FM. Any comments before we move on?
Well, Emma went to the movies and rocked a barbecue with the fam. It looks like some of the Starmy got together over the weekend.
Nice.
Well, that's cool.
Very cool.
Sweet invite.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
What's up with that? Come on.
Just bringing people together. Yeah, I guess they don't want us to be part of that, you know.
You know, we wouldn't have gone, but it would have been nice to have been invited.
Yeah, well, duh.
You know? Just remember that. Just invite. Makes us feel good.
Well, what's interesting is most people this morning, like we've already had multiple comments this morning about Nike and their new campaign, but we don't have
Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah. He's the face right now.
Wow, that's crazy to me. So we've moved on, or just Nike has moved on and they're okay with it now?
No, Nike's actually, I mean, they're pushing it. They're new. For those that don't know, we could talk about it for a sec. Why not? Colin Kaepernick. You guys remember that guy, right? He kickstarted the whole boycott of the NFL.
Is their new slogan just take a knee?
No.
Oh.
It's still just do it. And it's Colin Kaepernick's face. And the tag is believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And if I'm being honest,
I could like that a lot.
I love it.
I'm going to get that tattooed.
I know because I've had multiple friends light him up.
Say it one more time.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
That's good.
Sure, it's Nike. Sure, they're out to make a buck. But actually, reading about it, Nike never fired Colin Kaepernick. He's always been on their roster. So they have a whole roster of athletes, and basically it's like, we have you signed to a contract. We don't have to put you in the spotlight, but we own your likeness, essentially. And Nike never dropped Colin Kaepernick.
Wow.
They just kind of kept him on the sideline. No pun intended. And it's their anniversary. But yeah, partnering with Colin Kaepernick, it's their new Just Do It campaign. And there's already been quite a bit of blowback. People literally lighting up Twitter with videos of barbecuing their Nike shoes,
oh my gosh,
Nike shirts.
But wait, hold on.
Nike sneakers.
Didn't we find out the real reason why Colin Kaepernick took a knee, and it was actually we all kind of were blown away because the story behind it, I think we can get behind, right?
Well, it depends on where you read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because,
what is true, what's not.
What's true, what's not. Because I remember when it first started, it was like, does he even know why he's doing this? Because he was asked, and it wasn't the most articulate, but he kickstarted this, and it was like the police brutality and Black Lives Matter, and then it's like, no, it was actually for and like it just kept.
I thought he would talk to like a
changing.
Soldier, like a military person he was having a conversation with, right?
Yeah,
and he was the one who recommended taking a knee.
Yes, recommended taking a knee so that as not to protest, but still on the field peacefully, and so yeah. He took a knee, but then obviously we saw what happened with that. This dude literally lit his shoes on fire.
Oh my gosh, he's still wearing them
while he was wearing them.
People are so stupid.
Yeah, yeah. So
is there a video of that guy lighting his shoes on fire?
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Darn it, I really want to see a video.
It's everywhere. People went crazy this weekend. So, yeah.
Are you guys gonna burn your Nikes? You gonna burn them?
No.
You gonna light them on fire?
I wear Adidas right now. Do you have Nikes on?
Man.
No?
I got Brooks.
No Nikes?
I got Brooks.
At home, I got a few pairs of kicks.
I used to wear Nikes.
Like my Chuck Taylors. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the backlash isn't unexpected. Nike took a huge risk deciding to make him the face of their campaign. Obviously, he's probably the most divisive dude in our culture. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they would risk that. Why would they take a gamble on him?
Well, I mean, here's the deal.
It seems like that could really backfire.
Looking at just the ad, Colin Kaepernick's face, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. They not once say, hey, we agree with his stance on kneeling for the national anthem. They don't mention it. They don't talk about it anywhere. They're just saying their campaigns have always been kind of just do it and these bold over the top, whatever. I don't necessarily disagree with the message of believing in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, because clearly Colin Kaepernick believed in his cause so much that it cost him his job in the NFL, and he's still out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's a hero by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying the ad campaign is pretty brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So
505-338-3700. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have a quick question to ask you. I know it's not pertaining to Kaepernick because he's my man. But anyways, this weekend, my roof caved in.
No!
Oh, my gosh. Are you okay?
Yes. Yes, I was outside. My sister yelled out, and I kind of figured. But Friday, a week ago Friday, the adjuster came, and he told me they couldn't do nothing about it because he went on the roof, and he said there's no sign of water and all that.
How did it cave in?
It just caved in with too much water, too much rain. What? And I had it taped up with plastic, thinking maybe they'll see that. But nope, it caved in this weekend. Now I have a big old hole in my hallway.
Well, I mean, so, at least you can see the sky, you probably have a pretty good view now.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No.
But my next question is, I know I called the adjuster. Does it hurt to make another claim?
Another claim?
Yeah,
I know
what do you-
you're
what do you
asking
think?
the wrong person. Like
Steve knows all about
insurance-wise,
this.
what do you
He
mean?
was an insurance adjuster
like
at one point in his life,
I
I'm sure.
definitely was not an insurance adjuster.
Like, you need to call somebody else?
So,
See?
like, basically, insurance was like, nah, man, this ain't us.
Well, no. What happened was I go up there not all the time, but I go up there to maintain my air conditioner to make sure everything's working right.
Yeah.
But I had an incident. My ladder, I had bought my ladder and it malfunctioned and it knocked the air out of me.
Oh my gosh.
So I was really bad, and I'm finally getting better because I bruised my ribs badly. So I couldn't go up there, and I don't have a ladder, so I couldn't maintain the air conditioner. So he's saying that since the air conditioner hasn't been maintained, it's mainly my fault.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. They always find those loopholes. You have to be careful. You have to.
I know. So I told him, what the heck am I paying for? What am I paying for?
I mean, now you're speaking my language.
I get it. I get it. But at the same time, you should have been checking on your air conditioning. You should have been checking on your roof.
Yeah, but thank you.
I have, but see, the ladder that I have.
The ladder.
The company that made the ladder is sending a person out there to look at my ladder. I can't use it.
Maybe you should go after them. Maybe you should go after the ladder company. You almost died from the ladder. Go after them.
No, you know what? I did.
What'd
I
you
went
do?
to Walmart because it's a return item.
Uh-huh.
And they're not supposed to put it back on the floor.
Oh, they put it back on the floor? You got one that shouldn't have been back on the floor.
What is happening?
I'd go after the ladder company. That's what I would do.
So anyway, wait, listen. I'm
here.
Sorry.
I got you.
No, you
so
go
anyways,
ahead.
okay, I called the ladder company, and they send me some forms, and they're gonna pay my bill. They're gonna pay my what I lost from work.
No way. That's great. Well, yeah, you probably get more out of them.
And they're gonna give me a new ladder, and they're gonna pay for my pain and suffering.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great and all. I'm just giving you a little advice. I'd probably get a lawyer. because
we are not legal counsel.
Exactly, that's why I said get a lawyer.
I know.
Get a lawyer.
I'm just going.
Wait, no. The reason why I
don't know me, lady.
Because I thought maybe you guys had an accident like this, an incident like this.
Oh, Steve has had so many accidents.
I mean, I've never had a roof cave in per se. Although, I mean, yeah, the hail recently damaged my stucco, which caused like a bunch of stuff to. But I was instructed by multiple members of the SARMY who are insurance people to like try and get a quote from a contractor yourself, because if you go through insurance, it's like it's a bad scene and it costs a lot more in the end because your rates go up and it's on your permanent record and this and that. And the other. So I don't know, but I don't know. We're not professionals. We're just talking about Colin Kaepernick. So.
And honestly,
you guys are talking about my man because I'm a 49er.
Okay, so here's a question. You're a 49er fan. I remember you calling in once before, and so correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't your son a police officer?
Correct.
Okay, so you have a son who's a police
officer.
officer.
He's a Dallas Cowboy fan, so he doesn't matter.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, with this whole, you keep calling Colin Kaepernick your man, but your son's a police officer, and Colin Kaepernick kind of really ruffled some feathers. He was taking a knee.
I know.
He's wearing like socks that have like a police hat with like a pig wearing them, and like it got really nasty. And so, as the mother of a police officer, how are you feeling about Nike using Colin Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick I don't know, he just needs seriously help.
Seriously help.
She doesn't care about anything but her ladder.
Because you know what? People don't realize. Kaepernick, I know he doesn't have children, but someday he will, and you never know what they want to be when they grow up. You never know. So maybe Kaepernick would, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, well, thank you so much for chiming in, and we really hope that you get your roof fixed. And,
yes. Yes.
Well, thank you guys. You guys have a safe day. And
you too.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Just when you think.
Maybe she just needs She needed us to go over and fix the hole. Maybe that's what she was waiting on. She was waiting for us to say, we'll go fix the hole.
Yeah, maybe.
She's got a son. Maybe sons.
Yeah. How about they go and fix it?
I mean, we can all go fix it. Since that's like everybody's mom now. She's so sweet.
Yeah, that would be a bummer, right?
Yeah.
If all of a sudden your roof just caved in. Feel bad for her.
Yeah.
You got to be checking on
Man,
that stuff.
so many people chiming in like, I just wanted that call to keep going. Please, guys, why did you stop this? Why?
Well, hopefully she listens to us. You know, get some legal advice. Don't you think, though, if a company, you get hurt, and a company's like, oh, we want to take care of you.
Yeah.
And they're just throwing things at you. We're going to make sure that you pain and suffering. We want to pay.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, okay. Then they're just trying to cover their butts.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you get a lawyer and you talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, definitely talk to a professional, not us.
Yeah, because you don't want them to continue.
I know nothing about it.
Here's the thing, and for everybody out there that's upset that I'm saying, hey, you're saying that she should sue this ladder company? Well, you have to sometimes. People get hurt. They get injured. They die.
Oh, man.
And if people don't step up and hold companies accountable, then people are going to continue getting hurt and
I do
killed.
love that she had one phone call to make, and that phone call was to us for professional
She trusted
advice.
us.
She trusted us.
What do I do, guys? My roof caved in.
We are number one with moms. Number one.
Whoa, we're here. It's all right.
Yes.
Hello. Are
This
you?
is the same person.
Okay,
This is
you're
the same
all
person.
right.
I wasn't asking for you guys to help. I was just wanting advice.
Oh, okay.
Because I do have a lot of friends, guy friends that can help me out.
Oh, okay.
But I just thought I'd say that over
Listen,
the air because insurance companies are nothing but crooks.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, can I call you honey? I don't know your name. I don't know your
her
name.
name.
What's your name so I don't have to call you honey?
My name is Adeline.
Adeline,
Oh.
all right. Are you going to listen to my
Addie.
advice? Are you going to listen to
We're
my
calling her
advice?
Addie.
Are you
I
going to
love
listen?
Adeline.
You
That is a
called
great
in for
name.
advice. Are you going to listen to my advice?
But you know what? I already know I was going to seek an attorney.
Oh, see? There you go.
So there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you know what?
Yeah,
You do
but
that and you let us know what they say. I want an update from you. Okay?
But you know what? I don't want to sue or anything. I just
Yeah.
want my roof fixed.
That sounds reasonable.
You know what I said, though? Sometimes you have to so you can hold these companies accountable.
I mean, but
you don't want anybody to get hurt.
But that's why you ask a professional and
I
not
know.
the morning show.
Exactly.
'Cause
That's
we
why
don't
you got to
know.
seek legal counsel. But I'm just saying, sometimes I know you don't want to
Yes.
sue them, but sometimes you have to hold their feet to the
Yeah.
fire,
Yeah.
like Nike.
What is that?
Like Nike.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just
A
do
lot
it.
of people lighting their
That's-
Nikes on fire.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, Addie, we got to go.
Okay.
We're so busy. We have a
I'll
huge
be at
show.
work.
We have to go.
You are the best.
Thank you so much. We're out of time. Goodbye
you.
now. Love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
So much to do this morning.
How
man.
does she keep getting in?
The
Phone lines
phone
are jamming up,
jammed
and
and
she's
she got
like,
in. She just got in. 2 in a row. Just go buy a Powerball ticket. It's your lucky day, Addie.
Oh man, I love it.
Pray for Addie.
So Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, what we were talking about.
Exactly.
Nike.
Does it really matter? Just a lot of blowback at Nike. I think they were kind of smart doing it over Labor Day weekend. They kind of like tried to sneak it in. Hey, here's a new ad campaign. Everybody's barbecuing. Nobody's paying attention.
What are some of the comments on the article? What are they saying?
People are not happy. A lot of people are not happy. Although one of the very first comments we got on the live one was, dude, this makes me want to go buy a pair of Nikes. And I'm like, what?
See, and that's the thing. That's what they're banking on.
Let's see. Goodbye, NFL. Goodbye, Nike.
Okay.
I'm an American who supports the American flag. Therefore, I will never buy any Nike product ever again since they decided to have Colin Kaepernick as their spokesman. Just watching Nike stocks. That's all I'm going to say. It's been nice knowing you, Nike. Never again will I wear anything with the Nike swish on it. New Balance are made in America anyways.
Read that one. Colin can wear his Nikes. My heroes wear combat boots.
There you go. The NFL equals no fans left, huh? Nike coined their phrase on Colin Kaepernick, believing in something means willing to sacrifice everything. Following that advice and no longer purchasing Nike because I believe in America.
Wow.
So we'll see what it costs him. I mean, or if it costs him anything, because everybody's talking about Nike today. So, who knows? Who knows? So.
All right.
Yeah.
He's still a 49er, right?
No.
Or what is he?
No, he's a nothing.
He doesn't even play anymore?
No, he didn't play last year,
Are you kidding me? He didn't even play last year?
Who are you?
Dude, what the heck are we talking about this guy before?
That's what most people on the live line are saying. Like, dude, his career ended.
What the heck?
Yeah.
See, I don't watch football, so I just assumed he still played football.
Oh, man.
What the heck?
By the way, the nephew of our girl Addie just chimed in on the live line and said, hey, this is her nephew Art. Tell her go Cowboys.
Okay.
Art, go help your aunt, bro. So everybody feels like we should call her Nana or Auntie. I like that.
She's a sweet lady.
And then back to Colin Kaepernick, people are just saying his career was pretty much already done. He lost his job because he stinks, not because he was protesting. Yeah. Yep.
Well, he's got that Nike endorsement.
Yeah. Somebody else wants to know if we also give handyman advice. Like, can we find somebody to help them build a block wall for their new house? I will also take that advice. I need to raise up my cinder block wall. We can do it together, Stormy, remember. We'll figure it out on your house, and then we'll perfect it on mine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Steve-O's got your back.
Yeah.
My hands are too soft. You know,
Somebody else made a comment. You know, the article or the ad says believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. And somebody said, but if he's willing to, quote, sacrifice everything, why is he suing the NFL for a bunch of money right now? Yeah.
That's a good point.
Somebody else said, I love that people are burning all of the Nike things that they've already paid for. Yeah, that'll show Nike.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think this will have more of a positive effect on Nike?
Man, I don't know. I really don't know. These days, I don't know. Stina says, I think that is doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's getting people talking.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, just know, remember the Starmy? No matter what we're talking about, if you don't like it, you can always just call and train wreck it with advice on anything you'd like this morning, like our girl Addie. That was pretty great. Had a conversation going, and the next thing you know, we're answering the phones thinking, oh, this is going to go well.
She's a nice lady, man.
I love her. She's one of my favorite
You
phone
can
calls
train wreck
ever.
the show anytime. All right, you guys can be a part of the show. You can watch us at Facebook and YouTube Live at Star 88 FM. And you guys can chime in, 505-338-3700. Who we got coming up at 9?
Oh, man, Christopher Hewett, the author of the Sacred Enneagram. He's a pretty incredible dude. I cannot wait to spend some time with him. He was actually in Albuquerque over the weekend for a conference. And so, yeah, dude, studied under, Mother Teresa. So I can't wait to hear his story. Yes.
All right, when we come back, I got a story about a 14-year-old kid that's so addicted to Fortnite that he attacked his mom. Crazy. All right, we got to take a break. Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Hang out.
I love the food at the fair. I want to go on a roller coaster.
My wife and I had our first date at the fair.
For 80 years, the New Mexico State Fair has warmed hearts, brought families and friends together, and created lifelong memories. This year, come and celebrate everything you love about the fair.
I really like the animals in the petting zoo. I like the pygmy goats. They're funny.
The 2018 New Mexico State Fair, September 6th through 16th.
The memories are always the best.
Love is in the fair.
This week on Walk in the Word, prepare to be transported to the dry, sandy climate of ancient Egypt. We'll stand with Moses as he confronts Pharaoh, experience Passover with the Israelites, and cross the Red Sea. And along the way, we'll learn a foundational biblical truth. God always makes a way for his people. Listen all week to James McDonald and Walk in the Word.
Make an appointment with James McDonald, weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on our sister station, KNKT 107.1 FM.
In the West, never have so many had so much and still been so miserable. Here's a hotspot from Skip Heitzig.
It does not take long in this life before people, even as children, learn the fine art of being discontent. They want more than what they have.
Hotspot. Right here is some solid wisdom from Skip. Listen up.
First of all, avoid comparisons. That'll get you every time. Once you start looking at what others have or are doing compared to you, you start comparing yourself, it's downhill. Because comparison robs you of contentment and promotes covetousness.
Here's a wise question from Skip.
What truths do you hold to that would keep you from complaining? Because I believe that contentment is related to what you believe about God's sovereignty.
Get free access to over 3,000 teachings from Skip at connectwithskip.com.
Contentment does not come from what we have, it comes from whom we have.
Hotspot.
This is Star 88 at 88.3 FM, KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and online at star88.fm.
I'm one of the usual suspects. I'm an unlikely candidate. I never deserve such grace. If you know me, you know I've been changed. You and me, we're not that different. Truth is, don't want you to miss this. Beautiful, beautiful purpose you were made for. Honestly, I could say it 100 ways. I could tell you 1,000 times. But if you really want to see redemption, take a look at my life. I'm not who I was before. Look in my eyes. I'm not hiding anymore. Yeah, we all fall short of perfect, and I'm the living proof. So if you think God's love can never find you, take a look at my life. My life, my life, my life. My life, my life, my life. So tell me all your misconceptions, 'cause I know I felt how you feel. You are not alone. We all need something real. And I could say it 100 ways. I could tell you 1,000 times. But if you really want to see redemption, take a look at my life. I'm not who I was before. Look in my eyes. I'm not hiding anymore. Yeah, we all fall short of perfect, and I'm the living proof. So if you think God's love can never find you, take a look at my life. My life, my life, my life. My life, my life. If you've been running from the truth, and if you've been searching for some proof, the evidence is right in front of you. In my life, I'm not who I was before. No, I'm not hiding. Take a look at my life. Take a look at my life. I'm not who I was before. Look at my, take a look at my eyes. I'm not hiding anymore. Yeah, we all fall short of perfect, and I'm the living proof. So if you think God's love can never find you, take a look at my life. Just take my life, my life. Just take my life, in my life, 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 my life.
It's the Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Wake up, it's warm outside. Feel the sun kiss on your skin. Rise now, sleep is done. It's time to live again. Wake up. It's been a good year for rain, for reality change. It's gonna be alright. Like there's a hole in the sky, dark turns to bright. Follow the light and wake up.
The Morning Invasion.
Next message. Hi, I just wanted to call and tell you guys that I love The Morning Invasion and listening to the music on Star 88. Especially love The Morning Invasion. I listen to it every morning and it just cracks me up all the time. And my siblings, when they hear me laughing every morning, cracking up hysterically, they say, "What are you listening to?" And it's like, "Oh, it's The Morning Invasion. It's great." And all my friends that I talk to, I say, "Hey, have you heard of Star 88, The Morning Invasion?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, definitely. We love The Morning Invasion." So just wanted to say thank you guys and keep up what you're doing.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Appreciate you guys emailing, leaving voicemails, telling how much you love Star 88, how much you love The Morning Invasion. You guys can call the live line, 505-585-LIVE. Leave a voicemail. Let us know how the station has impacted your life. We got a ton of them. And we do appreciate it. It encourages us. And whatever you want to say, though, that's what the live line is for. You can have fun with it, or you can be serious. Again, 505-585-LIVE. Not only text in, but you can call and leave a voicemail. Morning, Paul. What's up, Mark? Facebook Live. We're hanging out. You can watch the show. YouTube. Matthew, Kevin. What's going on? Johnny. Star 88 on YouTube and Facebook. And shout out to everybody sharing it. And if you're new, if you are new to The Morning Invasion, new to Star 88, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. You guys can always chime in. We want you to feel like you're part of the show. I know a lot of you don't connect on Facebook and YouTube. You guys, a lot of you stream us through the app. A lot of you just listen on your radio in the car. But you guys are always welcome to hit us up anytime. Got questions, advice? We just talked to Addie just a little bit ago. She, her roof fell in. She needed some advice. And we did the best we could. 505-338-3700. Good morning.
Hi, I own a ladder company.
Yes.
I heard you guys talking about ladders. I just want to let you know that we're a step above.
Oh, gosh.
No need to wrung your hands.
Uh-huh.
We
Good caller.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Oh, man.
I like it.
If you need...
Yeah? You be able to hold it together? Yeah? Gosh. It's real funny. It's going to be real funny when Addie sues you. That's what's going to happen.
Could you guys not see me out the window?
What? No.
No.
Were you trying to get in?
I was, yeah, our boy Joe was back there to say hi. And I'm like, hey!
Our boy Joe.
Oh. Door locked. Yeah.
Oh.
You don't pay attention to human beings.
Well, I'm kind of working, you know. I'm kind of doing a show.
That's fine.
While you're out, you know, just gallivanting around campus, like talking to all your friends, trying to hold down the fort.
Man.
Anyways, before we were interrupted by that caller.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for chiming in.
Yes, we do.
Being a part of the show. All right. Let's talk about Fortnite because, guys, the stories just keep getting worse. And I'm pretty sure my son Landon is going to end up in the news one of these days. And I read this story, and I want to see if Steve-O thinks the exact same thing. Because when you read these stories, when you hear about these parents and how they have a kid that's addicted, you kind of are thinking there's an easy solution to this. But let me just read the story, and then you can make your comment on what you think needs to happen. There's a woman. She lives in Sydney, Australia, and she says her 14-year-old is beyond addicted to Fortnite.
I thought he was feeling sick because he was saying, "Mum, I've got a headache."
The kids who don't leave their rooms.
Can I just tell you, I love when they have serious serious news reports.
This is crazy.
I get so fired up
This
when
is
I
like
hear
for real, like British 60 Minutes.
Yeah. When I hear the dramatic music in the background and the voice guy with the D, I get so excited.
Because
you know what? I'm starting the video over. I'm so excited.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I thought he was feeling sick because he was saying, Mum, I've got a headache.
the kids who don't leave their rooms because they can't stop playing video games.
I mean, it's 2 years since he's been to school.
They're out of control.
Okay, let's stop it right there.
Okay.
It's been 2 years since he's been to school. How old is the kid? 14 years old.
Been headbutted, I've had
Did you want to say something?
Yes, this seems so fake. It feels like tabloidy. What happened in Australia? Their news stories are so weird.
You think they're more dramatic than ours?
Yes.
Really?
Are you listening to the way this is produced?
Ours are just as dramatic. Are you kidding me?
To me.
She sounds like you're frightened of him.
Yeah.
Now we
Do you ever watch Dr. Phil? I want you to watch Dr. Phil. This is like watching a Dr. Phil episode.
Okay.
know what's really happening inside their young minds.
Planned brain death.
I kind of miss having like friends, but I got friends online.
Experts say
Pretty
it's
sure
a
that's my
new,
son.
irreversible brain change.
In psychological terms, this is an emergency.
An important health warning for all parents.
Those brain cells can't be gotten back.
Is it too late to save them?
It's too late, man.
The child you've lost, as you've described, do you believe you'll find him again?
No.
Hope. I'll never give up.
60 Minutes.
Australia, I'm coming for you. I hope we can watch that online.
What just happened? I don't even want to talk about the story. I want to talk about Australia's 60 Minutes.
Oh yeah,
that was like a
got
trailer.
Me hooked. That got me hooked. Okay.
That was weird.
Here's more to the story.
Okay.
Okay, the mom says he only leaves the house once a week. He doesn't go to school anymore, and what we just heard, he hasn't been to school in 2 years. And when this mom tried to take away his PS4, he headbutted her.
Oh, my gosh.
She's been bringing in doctors, experts to try to break his addiction, but nothing is working. And while she keeps trying to figure out how to help him, now she says she's sharing their story to raise awareness about video game addiction. Again, nothing's working. What would you do?
Okay.
What is she not doing that she said that she's done everything?
Yeah.
What has she not done yet?
I don't know. Spanked him.
I mean, that's a good call, but
made him go to school. He doesn't go to school anymore. He only leaves the house once a week. He's 14 years old. And in that little crazy video, the mom and dad are sitting there next to each other. Like, where's the dad in this? Notice the mom was talking the whole story.
Yeah.
The dad just kind of sat there passive.
yeah, dad's probably working, 60 hours a week because he hates his family. I guarantee you that's what's going on. Dad's clueless. He's like, kids play video games, whatever.
Seriously, Jarrett says, go to the fuse box, cut the power to his room. Curtis says, a good Louisville slugger will take care of those games.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You can't destroy the PS4?
Dude, right? Seriously.
I've told Landon over and over again, I'm going to destroy the Xbox. I'm going to take a baseball
throw
bat
it in the
to that thing.
trash.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it outside and slam it on the cement. I'm gonna run it over.
Paul says, wait. He headbutted the mom and
Yes.
the dad did nothing?
Did nothing. I wish I had dramatic music. Where's my
know.
dramatic music? Where is it?
My hat hair is on point. He headbutted the teacher, Lady Mum. And the father sat there like a passive nun. He did not a thing about it. Now, the mother faces the biggest trial of her life because she murdered him for touching her. No,
Oh
wait,
my
sorry,
gosh.
sorry. They got
I'm
really
in.
dark. It got really
I'm
dark.
in. When does
Real
that
dark,
one air?
Real dark, real fast. Because that's what would happen if my child ever headbutted my wife.
Yeah, right?
Like,
he'd been murdered.
Who is this guy?
Hey, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Good morning. So I can already tell you what the problem is with mom.
Yeah.
She does too much martini time.
Oh, Man,
Too much martini
that's some
time.
judgy starting her. How do we know that?
Don't judge her, man.
We
You
don't know
her.
that.
You don't know her. You don't know her.
I know that her son hasn't gone to school in 2 flipping years.
Well, that's
What
true.
I do know.
That's very true. 2
And
years
she
is
got
crazy.
Headbutted, so he was having a little bit of martini time.
Yeah, get
And
out.
I'm telling you,
All right.
Wow.
Can't you get in trouble if I don't know what the rules are and or the law is in Australia, but
For
at
what?
14
To throw away the. What are you talking about?
could you stop going to school at 14? Like, what's the age here in America?
I have no
you
idea.
don't get in trouble
That
anymore?
was dumbfounding to me. So he stopped going to school when he was 12 years old. Fortnite hasn't been a thing this deep for 2 years. So Paul says I would not have survived that experience if I had butted my mother. Somebody said go Office Space on that machine. Yes, Shannon. Yes, you do.
Yeah, as soon as he goes to the bathroom, you just go crazy.
Ruth says my son got an Xbox for his birthday the weekend before last just to play Fortnite. He's been annoying. Not helping with nothing, just playing like a zombie. So I took the controller away and made him do chores. Good job, Mom.
What if we did? Now listen to me.
Yeah.
What if we held a rally, okay?
Uh-huh.
And we had all of the parents out there that have kids that are addicted to Fortnite. What if we had them all meet up at a certain location with the PS4, the Xbox, and we all just destroy them together? How cool would that be? We hold like a rally.
But why?
But why?
Yeah,
why
because
not?
here's the thing.
Why not?
Here's the thing.
We get to break things.
Labor Day
and
weekend.
We get to see how kids will react.
Yeah, 4 days, right? Like we had a bunch of days, 3-day weekend, whatever. And let's see, baseball weekend. Boys helped me in the backyard. We moved the house around and like did some kind of spring cleaning, even though it's like the end of summer. Like we took care of stuff. And then I said, hey guys, 45 minutes, okay? All right, word. Boom, jumping on their video game system. So I think in this extreme situation, yes, you get rid of it. But I think it's ridiculous that parents can't parent. Like, it got to a place where this 14-year-old is so addicted to a video game, he straight up headbutted his mom, he dropped out of school, and the parents are just kind of like, well, we've taken him to doctors.
We've done everything.
Talked to experts.
We've done everything.
We just don't know what to do with little Timmy.
Nothing
I'm
is
like,
working.
I don't know. Spank him, ground him, be a parent. Are you kidding me? The story makes me insane.
They're scared of their kid, man. They're scared of their kid.
Oh my gosh.
And dad's not home, obviously.
Because I get it. And I've seen like some pretty funny Facebook's like videos of like Fortnite parenting and support groups and all these funny things. And I'm going, yeah, that's funny. But why not just parent? I don't know. Parent? My kids know like when it is time to get off, it's time to get off. You have a certain amount of time. And if you don't adhere to that, well, then you're done.
Yeah.
You're not going to play video games. And so last week, for instance, I'm like, hey guys, I need you off at this time. And I boom, set your timers on your phone, whatever you need to do. I need you off at this time. It rolled past that time by 20 minutes. And I was just like, I'm just going to let it keep going. And I let them keep playing because it's not like they were.
I've done that move before.
Yeah. So I let them go and go and go. And then when they were finally wrapped up, I'm like, hey, what time is it? And they looked and they're like, 5. Oh. I'm like, yeah. So you guys understand you're not going to play tomorrow, right?
Ooh, man.
And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. And like, I don't need to explain why you're grounded. Nope. Cool. Like,
gosh, they're great
cool. Kids. Parent. Headbutted the mom. I'm dumbfounded
I
right
will
now.
say,
I'm seriously dumbfounded.
if you're listening to what Steve-O's saying, because, I hear Steve-O talk about his kids, and they're good kids. And you know why? Because the consistency.
We've parented them
you guys are
birth.
very consistent, and
Yes.
I think a lot of parents are not consistent.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like I used to threaten some of the dumbest things, and then Chrissy would look at me and go, well, great, because now you have to do that.
Right.
I've had to throw away things, and I'm like, I spent $80 on this. But I said if they did this again, I was just going to throw it in the trash. Well,
yeah,
got to eat my words, and I just threw it in the trash.
Mhm.
Like, and I think a lot of times we're just like, if you do that 1, 2, we're not counting parents.
Exactly.
Because you're like giving them the authority. Like,
Right.
you finish whenever you feel like it. 1. But if I get to 3.5, oh,
Yeah, and I'm bad when it comes to that too, because when you aren't consistent, that's when you find your kids freaking out when you finally throw the hammer down. That's when they freak out and have meltdowns. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So there's an app on Xfinity where you can actually just cut the Wi-Fi to the household or even certain users or devices.
Yep.
And I'll do that once in a while, and it's amazing how fast the kids come down and ask what I need them to do.
Yeah, right? What do I need you to do to get back? Yeah.
It's amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I like to mess with them once in a while, and I just cut the Wi-Fi.
There you go. Thanks, man.
Amazing. Thanks for the call. Cena says this is why my kids are limited, 7 p.m. every night. Even weekends, no iPad, no video game, not even YouTube. Guess what? They're good with it. Hashtag parenting. Yeah.
A lot of great
Yeah,
parents.
see, Kevin says, my kids are really good at Fortnite. My kid's good at Fortnite, and he still does chores and eats dinner with us. He todo, bro. Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Can I just say a big amen right there? Parents, be parents.
Yeah.
And it starts early. You know, when you spank their little butts whenever they're little.
Spank their little butts.
At 14, all you have is a bluff anymore. If you're going to try to catch up parenting whenever they're 12, 13, 14, you're already behind.
Yeah.
I mean, whip them early, whip them often. Don't be a friend.
I don't
Then
know if we
whenever
can
they
endorse
become a
that,
functioning
100%.
member of adults, when they become a functioning member of society, you can be their friend, you can hang out, whatever.
Yeah.
All these whiny parents, I don't know what to do, you know, but you can't have friends online. I ruin it for me. I'm a seagull. Be a parent.
All
you
right.
know, maybe parents should be whipped too.
Oh,
You guys
wow.
have an awesome
Whoa.
day.
You too.
All right, man. Oof.
Man, remember Stormy chimed in, though, and said, yeah, when I cut the Wi-Fi, my kid used the neighbor's Wi-Fi. Gosh!
Wow. Yeah, talking about this 14-year-old, so addicted to Fortnite, he headbutted his mom when she tried to take away the game. And they have a whole 60-minute episode in Australia on this situation because the parents, they have no idea what to do. They have no idea. We've tried everything. And he's addicted.
Yeah.
How about just get rid of the gaming system?
Somebody said, meanwhile, the New York parents had to sue their kid to kick him out of the house. Remember that?
Oh, I remember that.
Yep. Somebody said, you just keep them busy. That's it. Somebody else said educational neglect. Like, for real, this kid is 14 years old, dropped out of school. They clearly do not care for their child. Somebody said, we actually don't even have home internet, video games, tablets, etc. They play outside. They use their imaginations. What happened to having family time?
Yeah. So in the article, it says they have tried to take the cord away. And, well, that doesn't work because he fires back. He gets angry, aggressive. We've had to call the police. I got headbutted. I've had concussions. What? This has happened more than once? Man. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is a situation where this mom is scared of her kid.
Unfortunately, we're seeing this more often than not because you work all day, you get home, you're tired, and you know what's an easy babysitter? Video games.
Oh, yeah.
The tablet, whatever it is. Like, ugh, I have to engage with my child. Just go play video games for 7 hours.
Yeah.
But then this is what happens. This is what you are reaping what you have sown when you just kind of don't care about your kid's life or you're too tired or like that caller said, I partially agree with what he said about mom's busy having like her time, whatever he called it. Because maybe that's it. Like parenting's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's really hard. But you got to do it. We got to step up. As a Christian, man, we are called to something so much greater. And I do brag on my kids quite a bit, but that's because I love my kids, man. Because they're pretty well behaved. Yeah, it's sure, they still act like kids and they're brats sometimes.
Sure.
But like, dude, welcome to being a parent and interacting with children.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Man.
I thought he was feeling sick because he was saying, Mum, I've got a headache.
The kids who don't leave their rooms because they can't stop playing video games.
I mean, it's 2 years since he's been to school.
2 years! Okay, I can't. Dude, I'm going to
2 years.
Yeah. Stacy says, did they take him into custody or anything? Because if the cops are being called and nothing's happening, that's not going to help at all. Like, what happens? What happens when the cops are called? Because Anna said, that's assault and battery. Call the police.
Yeah, take him to juvenile.
Kid headbutted her? Are you kidding me?
Take him to kid jail. Take him to kid jail.
Yeah. Yep.
So sad.
See, this is because Mark talked about the fact that even though him and his baby mama are divorced now, like they're friends, they still talk about how to raise them, and they are both consistent even in separate homes.
That's
which
good,
is like,
man.
dude, I commend you for that, Mark. That's pretty incredible.
It's really good. All right. We got to take a break. Thanks for chiming in. 505-338-3700 if you'd like to call in. Also live on Facebook and YouTube. What's the live line to text in?
505-585-LIVE. 505-585-5483. Right. The fam and I went and hit a bucket of balls at a driving range yesterday. My son helped pull weeds, cook some meals, witness to the witnesses. Great day.
Nice. When we come back, I want to talk about a praying mantis. Anybody else have a praying mantis on their car windshield or on their car? Because I posted something on my Instagram because I had a praying mantis on my windshield. And I've had like a few people same thing this morning. And so I Googled what it means.
What does this mean?
What does it mean, man? What does it mean? We'll talk about it when we come back. Hang on.
A Star 88 Supernova with Greg Laurie.
You know, we talk about these walls of Israel. The walls mattered back in those days. They were defensive, of course. They kept enemies out. And especially the gate of the city was where commerce was done. It was also where the elders would meet and they would make important decisions. They were a place of authority, so they meant a lot. And in our life, we have walls sort of built around us. And sometimes those walls start breaking down. You know, we compromise a little here, we compromise a little there, and then the weeds start growing in and the problems start developing. Maybe we need to go about rebuilding our own walls personally. Maybe it needs to start with a prayer where we just see ourselves as we really are. Listen, if you're not a Christian, let me tell you your true state before God. You're a sinner in need of a Savior.
Catch Greg Laurie's teaching show, A New Beginning, on our sister station, KNKT, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. on 107.1 FM. Benjamin Franklin reminds us, when you're down to nothing, God is up to something. The faithful see the invisible, believe the incredible, and then receive the impossible. Solar Flare on Star 88.
California driving, had to get out. Distance got me wondering where you are right now. One-way conversations got me worn down. Pouring out my heart, wish you would speak a sound. I don't know what I'm after. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm after. All I know is I'm lost. I don't know what I'm after. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm after. All I know is I'm lost without your love. There's no point in even waking up. No, 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 no. Without your love, nothing's ever gonna be enough. No, 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 no. I can't get you out of my head. And I don't wanna ever forget. You give me what the world can never give. I can't live without you. I can't live without you. I can't live without you. Staring at the ceiling after midnight, overthinking everything in my whole life. All of these regrets are clouding my mind. Lord, I need the strength to try it one more time. 'Cause now I know what I'm after. Now I know what I'm doing. Now I know what I'm after. Now without your love. There's no point in even waking up. No, 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 no. Without your love, nothing's ever gonna be enough. No, 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 no. I can't get you out of my head. And I don't wanna ever forget. You give me what the world can never give. I can't live without you. I can't live without I can't live without you. Some people gotta lose it all to find out what they really want. Yeah, some people gotta lose it all. What I want is you to find out what they really want. I can't live without you. Some people gotta lose it all. Some people gotta lose it all. What I want is you.
As a Christian, you have a hope to share. With more, here's Matt Chandler on a Star 88 PowerPoint.
It's not just this kind of understanding of our relationship with God that matters, because the you, and you are the salt, you are the light, is emphatic and restrictive. So it's the people of God, but it is the people of God, which means that one of the primary ways God shapes us into more of who we already are is via the grace of the people of God. So that one of the ways he's saying, you are salt, you are light, that's true about you now, but you're gonna grow in your saltiness, you're gonna grow in your brightness, and it's gonna take place over a period of time, and it's gonna take place immersed in a community of saints who understand most fully what we just learned above, namely that we're all fallen, broken people in need of grace, a savior, and a safe place to be vulnerable and honest about where we actually are.
That's Matt Chandler on a Star 88 PowerPoint.
What's going on in the news today?
President Trump marking Labor Day with a tweet touting the economy, saying, quote, "The worker in America is doing better than ever before."
Congress is returning from its summer break.
The U.S. Census Bureau is allowing U.S. households to respond online to the 2020 census, mainly to save money.
A boat collision over the weekend. It happened Saturday night on the Colorado River that borders California and Arizona.
A fire has gutted most of Brazil's National Museum in Rio de Janeiro.
2 Reuters journalists are facing 7 years in prison in Myanmar.
Tropical storm Gordon now announced and spinning up.
Gunfire at an apartment complex in San Bernardino, California.
Oreo is introducing 2 new flavors, the wasabi green cream and the hot buffalo orange cream.
A new report by the United Nations Refugee Agency finds more refugees and migrants than ever before have died crossing the Mediterranean Sea this year.
Lucrative weekend for crazy rich Asians.
Scientists in Nova Scotia say they are optimistic after finding an old barn full of hundreds of bats. An infection called the white nose syndrome has killed 95% of bats in the province.
Crazy rich Asians. #1 again. Are you kidding me? Welcome to the show. What's going on, guys? It's Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, so I got in my car this morning. I started driving, and I looked, and I started freaking out because at first I thought the praying mantis was inside my car on the windshield.
But that'd still be cool.
It would be cool, but it was freaky because giant bug. It looks like it's going to take its swords and slice you up.
Okay. Wow.
But no, it was just hanging out on my windshield on the outside of it. And if you know anything, I don't like to kill bugs. I've said this before. I hate killing bugs.
Yeah?
When I go for a run and I'm on the sidewalk, I purposely try to avoid stepping on an ant because I don't want to kill them. It's hard-working ants just doing their thing to survive. I don't want to step on one and ruin their day, you know? So my first thought was, I got to get this thing off my windshield. Well, if I turn on the windshield wipers, it's probably going to kill the guy. So I didn't do that. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just start driving down the road and that thing will finally fly off. The thing stayed on my car the whole way to work. Like heading down Paseo.
Yeah, dude.
The thing just...
It's because it just dug its
Seriously.
swords into your windshield wiper.
Right. Now it was on the glass.
You will not let go of me.
It was on the glass.
It's crazy.
Like it didn't move. Got to give that guy some respect.
So what did you do when you got here?
So I got here and went into work, and I went to the gas station this morning, and he was still hanging out. An hour later, he was still hanging out on my windshield.
Did you name him?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, let's hear it.
I didn't name him. I'm
come
trying to think of a
on.
name. I'm like,
you could have even
mantis.
done something, yeah, like the Apostle Paul. Because we're called to pray without ceasing.
Oh my
and he's constantly in prayer.
Yeah, my brain wasn't. I tried. I was sitting there thinking, praying mantis. What could I? And I could call him like Manny.
That would have been better than nothing.
Meningitis. I don't know.
What?
Manti.
Gosh, just stop. Never
Yeah,
mind.
see,
I apologize.
yeah, that's your thing.
I really.
That's your thing. Why didn't you come up with a name? Why do you got to put me on the spot like that, man? Jeez, I'm the storyteller. You're supposed to come up with the witty stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've had praying mantises like a lot in my life. I've had one in my house once.
Yeah.
I've had one on my back once. And people always say, oh, there's a meaning behind that. Yeah. I found the meaning.
Okay.
What does it mean when a praying mantis is on your car? And there's an actual, there's a meaning.
This is real, guys. He's on a...
There's an actual meaning.
He's
to
on
this.
a website. Okay. What's it mean?
Praying mantis landing on your car asks you to be extra careful while driving.
Oh.
Be patient and calm to assure a safe ride home. It also adds as a warning that the roads you usually travel may be congested and quick, decisive action will be needed to avoid an accident. That's what it means. The guy was trying to keep me safe. He was trying to warn me, hey, calm down.
He was your road Jiminy Cricket this morning.
He was.
He was just like, hey, dog.
Hey. He was.
Be safe today.
But I feel like it was more of a distraction than actually helping me because I was
Yeah.
constantly staring at the little bugger while he was on my windshield thinking he was going to fly off.
By the way, members of Stormy chiming in with names for your praying mantis.
Yes.
How about this one? Fettuccine Manfredo.
I hate that one.
Fettuccine Manfredo.
I hate it.
Okay, well.
Come on, you can do better than that.
It's kind of good.
Have you ever had a praying mantis?
Kevin said it was your spirit guide.
I think that's what it says.
Those things are so weird to me, though, when people are like, dude, this morning a coyote ran across the road. And you know what that's a sign of? I'm like, no. What? You were out too late? Like I don't know. And then there's like some overly spiritual, like,
it's your spirit animal.
No, because the coyote represents. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's coyote. Okay.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's saying here, your praying mantis animal spirit will often appear when calmness and contemplation are needed.
Did you need to contemplate this morning?
You know what? I needed to contemplate. I needed.
Yeah. What does it mean when you accidentally step on one?
Oh, you know what? That means you're going to die.
Okay, stop it. Somebody actually accidentally stepped on one.
Oh,
I hate that. Coming to work.
Oh, terrible.
Coming to work and all of a sudden crunch. And I'm like, no! Because there's like at 3, 4, 5 a.m. there's those little snails. And they always are on the stairs. I'm like, why are you on the stairs? I didn't know. I'm trying to rebuild their house.
Pay attention where you're walking.
I'm just trying.
Be more alert. Use your iPhone spotlight.
Somebody says I found a praying mantis on my back screen door in the morning at least 3 times recently. What does that mean? Back screen door.
Back screen door. Okay.
Back door. There's a front door.
There's a front door. A praying mantis at the front door of your home is a strong spiritual message asking you to look within and approach your inner feelings of contemplation. Soon you'll be asked to do something you are not comfortable with.
Oh, stupid.
Get out of here with this.
Okay. Yeah, dude. General Mantis.
General Mantis is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Not bad.
It's a good name.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, I kind of want to go see if he's still on my car.
Mm-hmm. Master Mantis from Kung Fu Panda. Who's Seth Rogen? Beautiful.
Pretty sure a hawk is going to take him out pretty soon if he stays on my windshield.
Mickey Mantis.
That's a good one.
Huh?
See, you guys are
Little
good
Yankees
at this.
uniform for him.
Yep.
Totally. You know, just trying to help you out with your new friend. I mean, spirit guide.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
Yeah, I just thought it
People
was
can
weird.
like just dive into some weird spiritual craziness. Like, we're being funny, obviously, but like, there are people that take that stuff seriously.
Well, think about it. It's like conspiracy theories, you know? People just think it's fun. They want to believe in something. You know, it's just fun to believe in something that isn't real, and you kind of just want to believe in it.
Sure.
Like Bigfoot. For a lot of years, I
You're
kind of
like,
thought,
this is fun.
all right, you know what? I probably can get, I'm about 80% sure that this is real. Now,
Yeah, sure.
Now, no, it's completely, that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But, yeah, I don't know. It just was fun to do.
Oh, man, you need to charge that Mantis. I just realized what he really wanted was a free Uber ride, and you gave it to him.
I'm going to charge him. if he's
Terrible
still
at your
out there.
job. You were terrible at your job.
Well, poor little guy. I couldn't, his little credit card was just too small. I couldn't grab it out of his razor sharp swords. His swords for hands. Yeah, I had a pretty interesting weekend with the Uber and Lyft.
Yeah?
job. Yeah.
You went out? You worked?
I did. And guys, I was scammed.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I got scammed.
All right, wait, are you being serious?
No,
right
I'm
now?
serious.
What? Well, tell us. Like this. How does this happen?
So, being an Uber and Lyft driver.
Is this like the time when you were in the cave and then this kid was like, and you're like, you've got 3 wishes, and then the kid was like, oh, some genie this guy is. He can't even get us out of cave. And then you're like, you know what? Hold on to your hat. And you get him out of the cave, and then you're like, oh, dost my ears deceive me? You are down by 1. And then it's like, well, I actually never wished to like get out of the cave.
No,
Like,
Shazam, no.
Totally just faked you out on that one.
No.
And then you're like, dang, Aladdin, what a jerk. He totally like lied to the genie and deceived him.
No.
Okay.
No.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I know you do.
Sorry. It's my favorite Disney movie.
What were we talking about?
You're talking about how you got
Oh, yeah.
scammed this weekend. Come
Yeah.
on, bro, focus.
Yeah, well, it can be hard sometimes. Yeah, so when you're an Uber or Lyft driver, the rides you want are the long distance ones.
Okay.
Because a lot of times you'll go and pick somebody up and they want to
Yeah,
go like 2 miles down the road and you make $1 or something. You make a couple bucks.
Sure.
You get a long one, like if Rio Rancho to the airport, you're going to make, $20 to $30.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went to the airport, dropped somebody off, and then somebody close to the airport at one of the hotels needed a ride.
Yeah.
So I pull up, and it's a cleaning lady. She jumps into my car.
Yeah.
And we're off. And I notice, oh my gosh, we're like far Rio Rancho. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Cha-ching. Yeah, this is a good ride.
Yeah.
I get on the freeway, and all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh, I put the wrong address in. So I said, hey, no problem. You can go into the app and just change the address while we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She canceled the Uber. So now I'm driving down the freeway, and every mile counts towards getting paid. So I'm driving down the freeway, and she canceled the Uber. So what do you do when that happens?
Gosh,
what would you do? What would you do? You're on the freeway, and she cancels the Uber.
I don't even know how that's possible if she's traveling within the car. Did you not start the thing?
No, I did. But she can go on her app, and she can cancel it.
But you're already in the car.
Right.
How does...
She canceled it. So what do? Do you just pull over and tell her to get out?
You drove her to her destination for free?
Well, no. So we're like, I'm still driving, and I'm going about 30 miles an hour down I-25 because she's sitting in the back seat going, yeah, I'm trying really hard here. Oh, oh, I think I just got another Uber driver. And I'm like, because I'm sitting there just connect and it'll probably connect to me. And she's like, oh, I can't. It's not working.
Are you the guy that did you, when she got in the car, did you go, oh, I'm so nervous. This is my first time.
No.
Like, what is wrong with you? How does this happen?
This is that you're making it seem like it's my fault.
It is your fault.
How is this my fault?
Because you're susceptible to scams.
Oh my gosh. She's the one who went on the app and canceled it mid-trip.
Oh man.
So I'm going 30 miles down I-25 going, okay, lady, like you need to figure this out because we got a long ways to go.
Listen, bro, you parent, okay? Remember the Starman said you parent. You take away every electronic device she has. No more Fortnite for her.
Guess what I did?
What?
I pulled over on the freeway.
Did you really?
And kicked her out.
No, you didn't.
I did.
I don't believe you.
I did.
No, you
I
didn't.
kicked her out of the car.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You're such a liar. You
she
drove
was
her to a
sitting there
destination
on
for free.
I-25 all alone because she scammed me.
You were such a liar. What did you really do? Did you drive her to her destination for free?
I did. Not for free. Not for free. No, she goes, do you think I can give you $20 cash?
Oh, man.
And then I'm sitting there going, okay.
Oh, my.
So it would have been about $10 short than what she owed me. But she's like, can I just give you $20 cash?
Gosh.
Fine. Wow. Take advantage of a nice guy.
Wow.
Because I've told this story to a few people, and they're like, I would have kicked her out of the car.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the Starmies say.
Yeah,
I'm like, you can't kick a lady out of the car?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt.
By the way, multiple people chiming in saying, that's actually a common scam. People will do that.
Is that a common scam?
So you don't let them do that.
Okay, how do you stop them from doing it? You just kick them out of the car? Is that what you do?
I mean...
So yeah, that was my first experience with
Did you rate the?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You have to do it right afterwards, and I forgot. And so now I'm bummed because I could have gave her 1 star and I ended up giving her 5.
Hey, listen, Australian mom parent.
Right?
You were such a pushover.
I am. Of course yeah, that's cool. You don't even have to pay
I don't
me.
feel bad for you. Yeah, it's common. Multiple people chiming in.
Really? That's a common thing.
Yep.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh. So another thing that I've dealt with over the weekend is picking somebody up that's not 18.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
But how do you know? Because you have to be 18 to use the app. But you can obviously you can lie. Like if somebody wanted to make a Facebook page, you could go on there and just put in a bogus date or when you were born.
Because kids are using it?
Well, yeah, because you have to be like, what, 13 or something to have a Facebook?
I have no idea.
But
you're asking the wrong dude.
So I picked up this girl at a restaurant, and she obviously wasn't. I mean, but the thing is, she could have been 18.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't look 18. What do you do in those situations?
Okay, now but you're judging on appearance. You
exactly.
don't know that she wasn't
but
18.
What if she wasn't 18?
I don't know.
Exactly. What do you do in those situations? Do I ask for ID? And then you're that guy that's like, hey, can I check your ID real quick?
Gosh,
that's
you're
weird.
the reason why I signed up for Lyft and Uber and then never did it because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it can be a little stressful.
Ridiculous.
It can be a little stressful. These are the things you run into.
With just enjoying my evening and not making an extra $27.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd flip out if you found out how much money I made.
Okay. I will flip out.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting weekend. And, for the most part, just had some really good conversations with people. It was actually very enjoyable because every trip you're looking forward to seeing, what kind of character is going to get in my car.
Here's what not to do, okay? Don't ever tell any of the other Uber riders about the scam lady. Because I can just picture you like you pick up the next rider and you're like, yeah, craziest thing just happened. This lady canceled, and all of a sudden 2 minutes into it, they're like, oh my gosh, I accidentally hit the cancel button. And you're like enabling scammers. This is all you're doing.
Yeah, you might be right.
But thank you for helping me because I wanted to get a ride without having to pay.
But the thing is, if we all unite and just kick them out right away, then scam's on you guys. Scam's on you. Here's the funny thing. Here's what's crazy about it. She calls her husband, right?
Uh-huh.
And I could hear the conversation. Her husband was picking her up at work. And she's like, I got an Uber. And the husband's like, you got what? Are you kidding me? You got an Uber? I just drove all the way over here to pick you up. She's like, yeah, okay, I got to go. Really?
I
lady?
don't want this life. I don't want it.
It's a great life, man.
Yeah, no.
It's a great life.
I'm good.
You just never know what you're going to get. You never know.
Yeah. Yep.
The life of a Lyft and Uber driver, man. Yeah. You know?
Okay. You learned a lesson, right?
I learned a lesson.
Right?
Yep. I learned a lesson. And any tips would be appreciated.
Got multiple people chiming in saying you have to kick him out.
You got to kick him out.
Yeah.
You just got to find the nearest exit and kick him out.
Because the next thing you know, she's like, hey, you mind if we stop and pick up some friends along the way? Like,
that happened.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that happened to me. Hey, you mind pulling over so I can get some smokes? I mean, pretty sure I got to just follow the exact GPS coordinates. I don't know if I can like veer off.
You can't do this job.
And go over.
You're such a pushover. You cannot do this job.
So I just like,
you are going to get taken advantage of.
All right. Yeah.
Local Christian radio co-host murdered after 12 and 13-year-olds
there
get
were
ride
times,
to mall.
There were times where I seriously was waiting for the knife to go into the back of my neck.
Gosh, dude.
I seriously was freaking out a couple times.
Oh, gosh.
Some weirdos out there.
See, guys, if anything, we're on the education band. This is an informative, educational segment about why it's important to go to college. Okay?
And to read all the fine print that Uber and Lyft tells you to read.
Real job.
Guys, I didn't read anything. I didn't read anything. Good morning.
Hey, I want to talk to my Padawan. What's up, buddy?
Is this Jarrell?
Oh, Jarrell.
Jarrell
What's
has
up,
been
man?
helping me out. He's been helping me out as much as he can. What do you think,
okay,
man?
Number one, on the scam, next safest exit, open the door, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Plain simple. And if they refuse, say, hey, look, I'm dialing 911. Get out of the car.
Wow.
Dialing 911. All right.
That's- He's not
That's
joking.
Very simple.
Yeah.
On the teenager one, oh, dude, it happens because some of these college kids look super young.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I picked up some freshmen in college at UNM or CNM, and I'm like, you look 14,
right?
But they're in college. So the way I see it, and this is not a very popular opinion, it's Uber's responsibility, in my opinion, to be checking those IDs. I'm not a bouncer that knows how to check IDs in the middle of the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to insult anybody as well, and then it turns into a big,
Yeah, you don't want
big
your
mess
rating to
and
go down. You don't want to get a bad rating.
Nah, it's just I take them. I don't ask questions. Drop them off. I got my dash cam in case anything happens. So
see, I got to get a dash cam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a dash cam, man.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Bro, you got to protect yourself, bro.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I lasted about because I wanted to stay out late one night, and I lasted about 11:30, and I was like, I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's the latest you've ever been on.
Seriously.
It's okay, man. You're lightweight. You get up early for work. It's okay.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
The hustle's real, though, man. The hustle is real. I'm telling you, man. It's one of those jobs that you really have to pick and choose wisely because you could really lose money if you're not careful.
Yep. Yeah, you can get those scams happen all the time. Sometimes you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll go in this direction. It's a hustle of choices. Every choice matters.
Yeah.
If you go left, you should have gone right, and vice versa. But man, it is what it is, man. It's almost, I'm surprised no one's done like a sitcom yet about it. But yeah, it's.
Should you always follow the GPS when the customer's telling you not to follow the GPS?
Well, here's the thing. More than half the time, my customers, since I work the late nights, are pretty intoxicated. And they want to make random left and right turns all the time. And the way I see it is they're paying for the ride. So whatever direction they want to go, I take them.
There you go.
Most of the time, they don't bother. The funny part is there's plenty of times that I'll have the GPS right there forefront. They can see it, and then you'll hear them from the back seat, make a left here, and I look at the GPS, and it's like, you mean the left that the GPS is telling me to make right now. And then make a right here. Oh, you mean that right? Okay. And you just got to go with it.
Another question, another quick question before we go to
gosh.
break. Because I would love to take Steve-O out with me on one of these Uber rides. Is that allowed? I didn't read the fine print. Is that
not allowed? There is like an elderly couple that Ubers together here in town.
Yeah.
And that is totally against the rules, but it is funny. I've heard plenty of it, like a rider getting in the car, and there's like a husband and wife just sitting there.
That's so
like,
funny.
That's weird.
It's
weird, man.
and not cool.
Yeah. There we go.
Love it. Thanks, Jarrell.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. That's what I'm here for.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Hilarious.
My Uber buddy, my Uber and Lyft buddy. Yeah. It's been helping me out. Yeah, would you like to come out with me?
No, never.
Experience what it's like?
Literally never.
I'll just tell people that I'm training you. This is my buddy in training. Yeah, he's thinking about
like a trainee
he's thinking about
vest on.
He's thinking about being an Uber or Lyft driver.
Hi guys.
Just teaching him the ropes, you know.
How's it going?
It's real hard work trying to follow a GPS.
Real hard.
You know, the app's super
Real hard.
complicated.
Make a right turn here.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to make a right now.
In 500 feet.
Got to be on your game, man.
Oh, okay. That's what she's trying to say. Gosh, that makes so much sense.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. Thanks for chiming in, guys.
Dude, don't forget, coming up 9 o'clock, Chris Hewett, the author of The Sacred Enneagram, will be joining us. Really incredible dude, studied under Mother Teresa. So we're going to get some insight into the Enneagram for all those that are like going crazy over it on Facebook.
All right. All right, thank you for chiming in on Facebook and YouTube at Star 88 FM. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back.
Slater Transfer and Storage is a Star 88 power partner. Slater Transfer and Storage has been family-owned for more than 30 years. They're an Atlas Interstate agent and are certified by the American Moving and Storage Association, moving locally, long-distance, corporate, or even international, and providing local storage. Slater Transfer and Storage is located at 6900 Washington Street in Albuquerque, on the phone at 505-345-8841, and on the web at atlasalb.com.
This week on Connect with Skip Heitzig, Skip gets to the heart of what makes a church.
The ministry of a church is always the ministry of people. It's never about brick and mortar or carpet and pews. It's never about property. It's really about people. That's what a church is. It's a group of people that are called out to be together.
Connect with Skip Heitzig this week as he continues the series Technicolor Joy.
Make an appointment for Skip Heitzig weekdays at 8 a.m. on our sister station, KNKT 107.1 FM. Pastor Jack Graham and a Star 88 Supernova.
A wise family understands that words are powerful, that words are valuable, that words are wonderful. And oh, how we ought to be encouraging one another and edifying one another, building each other up, starting with our own families. Sometimes we forget to love and express that love to those that we care about the most. Our loved ones need to know that they are loved. And often that love is not only expressed in words, but small acts of kindness that we do each day. Our words should be positive, full of promise. There's so much negativity in our culture today. Listen to talk radio, political talk radio, or sports talk radio.
Catch Pastor Jack Graham, PowerPoint, broadcast weekdays at 10:30 a.m. on our sister station, KNKT. This is Star 88 at 88.3 FM, KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and online at star88.fm.
what you please, you are what you choose. Who will it be? You say I'm strong, but I'm weak. Don't need a thing, but I need you right now. You right now. You say I'm strong, but I'm weak. Don't need a thing, but I need you right now.
Listen. The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
And now it's time for another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Well, another cookout at Bill's. He talks too much. He doesn't pay attention to the meat. He's burning the burgers. He's burning the steaks. They're going to be tough as tires again. Every time, I know it. Bill can't grill.
And that was another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Bill Peterson, come on, man. You gotta listen. You gotta listen when I teach you how to
Bill
grill, man.
can grill, man.
That's true, he can. He can grill. But when I say I want medium rare, I don't want medium. Now, shout out to the Petersons. Hooked up some T-bones over the weekend for Labor Day. They were amazing. Welcome to the show, everybody. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling, Star 88 Studios. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Hanging out, thank you so much. What's going on, guys? And, was it, whose birthday is it? There's Jake, there's Matt. Who's the oldest?
Adam.
Adam.
Oh, gosh.
I can't keep up with these kids. There's just so many of them. Adam turned 30.
That's cool.
30 years old. Shout out to Adam. I can't believe the Petersons have a 30-year-old. They're so old. Coming up at 9. If you guys are into taking tests online, trying to figure out your personalities, this is going to be the interview for you. Steve-O's all hyped up about this.
I am.
Enneagrams, man. Enneagrams.
The Enneagram.
Enneagrams.
It's a different type or style. I mean, we've taken the 5 gears here, right? The 5 voices as a staff at Calvary.
Yeah, and you made fun of those.
I did. I mean, ish. I felt one of them actually was really good because it didn't really pigeonhole you as much as the other one. I think there's certain ones where it can absolutely just kind of pigeonhole you into like, this is who you are. And it's like, yeah. But I think they can be helpful, which is what this is. There's 9 different types, all representing a different human being, a different human experience and the way people think, they feel, they act. In relation to the world, to others, the way they interact with themselves. And so I think it's really interesting. I took it and just I kind of didn't have a second thought about it, although when my friends said, you should take this, I was a little thrown off because it was like eerie because I was like, oh, wow. Oh. And the more I read about it, the more I was like, dang, dude, this is pretty spot on.
So when people say, I want to find myself.
Yeah, no.
Is that a good thing to because it sounds like
it didn't help me discover who I was. I know who I am, but it did help me understand.
But some people don't know who they are.
Yeah, I think people have a better understanding of who they are. We just kind of put masks on and lie to ourselves about who we are. I think we have an understanding of who we are, but we don't necessarily always understand why we have certain tendencies. And that's kind of one of the things that this speaks to, but it's also how we as Christians can use something like that and learn and grow in our faith. Like, how can I use this to grow me as a human being to interact with others? Because I know that I have certain tendencies to react or respond to a situation differently than others. And yeah, so it was just very interesting. So I'm actually really, really excited to talk to Chris Hewett today in the 9 o'clock hour. So author of The Sacred Enneagram, which I got here at Parchments. Nice. So, which was great. I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, it's here. Oh, I'm not fired. Sweet. Just,
that's good.
Want to get this book on a spiritual growth and and your spiritual path and spiritual. And I'm like, oh man, I keep saying spiritual. They're gonna fire me. Anyways.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you talk to him. It'd be great. All right. Let me talk to you about a couple. This doesn't happen very often, so I feel like we need to talk about it. I mean, in radio, you hear, I mean, maybe it's because we're in radio. I've heard of radio people not liking their co-hosts, you know? I mean, it happens. They get in fights. And have you ever heard of TV anchors getting in fights?
Oh, dude.
Have you?
Yes.
Does this happen?
Off air, obviously.
Does this happen a lot?
I
We
don't
just
know.
don't really
I don't think it happens a lot, but yeah.
Like on air? I need to,
on air?
I need to after the show, like just YouTube and see, you know. I know I've watched one I can think of where two news anchors were going at each other.
Just kind of like badgering each other.
Yeah, they weren't
saying,
fist fighting.
Saying something nasty. Yeah, no, of course not. Are you kidding? Like, you're on television. Could you imagine like somebody attacking another human being on live television? Oh. Great.
Those tomatoes look so fresh.
Oh, I thought I got one small enough to stick in there.
Tomato.
This is a loaded burger here.
I'm sorry.
That's actual audio. News team at a station in West Virginia.
What? I just
Exploded
saw the
last week.
headline. Oh my gosh, that was real.
Woman named Erica is the anchor at WSAZ.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody.
WSAZ.
Welcome to What is
That's
it?
WSAZ.
WSAZ here in the WSAZ.
It's an NBC affiliate in
Okay.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Those West Virginians, man. Feisty.
So you got Erica, she's an anchor, and then you
Okay.
have Chelsea, who is the weather girl.
Okay. Sure.
Well, they were out last week, and Erica accused Chelsea of flirting with her husband.
Wait. Like on television?
Chelsea shoved Erica. They both fell down. And, well, Erica, she ended up with a ruptured eardrum and a fractured skull.
Oh, my gosh.
Chelsea was arrested for misdemeanor battery of a coworker, and she's due in court 3 weeks. She could be looking at about a year in jail or a fine. Neither of them have been on the air since this all went down. So let's see how good their chemistry is. This is from a 4th of July grilling party.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we are back here with Michelle Breheim from Longhorn Steakhouse,
ones that
obviously
got
with
in a
the burgers and all the tips and tricks for making everything. So we've let these cook. These are the finished burgers here. We've let them cook for about 6 minutes on each side. We've flipped them. So let's put this burger together. And we've toasted the buns too, by the way. Yeah,
You like
that's
a
the way
grilled
to
bun?
do it. I've heard that too, if you toast the buns, that like it keeps the bread from breaking apart. So a lot of times, you know, when you're taking a bite into that burger and the juices start flowing everywhere, your bread will
the
kind of
other one
fall
gonna
apart.
talk?
I've heard that toasting
Yeah, you
the bun
see?
or whatever
You know
bread
what?
you're using can help with that. So that's another reason you should
Erica
toast.
is hogging
Also
the
tastes
spotlight.
amazing, right?
I'm
Okay.
Get in there, Chelsea.
So here are the burgers.
It's kind of like reminds me of a duo
So
I
we
used to
brought
listen to,
some
Jackson
American
Steve-O.
cheese, cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese.
Perfect. You want to stack one,
always
Chelsea?
talk.
Sure.
Okay.
Are
Dax
these the
was always
ones
in the
that you did
background,
with
just sitting
salt
there
and
waiting.
pepper
Oh, she's
or
talking.
the special?
These were actually with the prairie
watch
ducks.
Erica.
Prairie
She's
ducks.
gonna
Very
jump
good.
in and
Yeah, our
cut her
signature
off.
seasoning.
Okay.
We're
Yep.
getting that signature seasoning on there tonight.
So we have.
Yep. See,
Is this
Erica's
cheddar?
like, you know what? Shut up, Chelsea.
I'm gonna
My
go
turn.
for it. Cheddar.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think we're probably gonna grab
easy.
it.
That's so rude.
I'm just gonna
Or you
take.
can put a couple different ones
I'm a
on there.
cheese fan.
Their chemistry
Okay.
is terrible.
So here's the thing. I got like freaked out because I thought this actually happened on air.
Yeah, this is actual audio.
Those tomatoes
No,
look
that's
so
not.
fresh.
Oh, I thought I got one small enough to stick in there.
Tomato.
This is a loaded burger here.
Guys, that's not real audio. Thanks for creating that and making me think it was real.
It's real.
So what happened was they were out at a bar last week. And Erica accused Chelsea of flirting with her husband. See, I'm reading the actual news article.
Yeah, if you were listening, I actually said that.
I know, but I mean.
I actually word for word said exactly that. You don't listen to me, man.
I don't.
You know
Sorry.
what? I'm sick of it. I am so sick to death of you never listening to me.
I don't listen to
Yeah.
you? Well, oh my gosh, you just pushed me on air.
Oh, arrest me. What are you going to do? Arrest me now? Am I going to go to jail? Am I looking at a fine now?
Could you imagine? That is the weirdest thing to me. I mean, they were clearly out.
Okay, but let's just
together.
Let's imagine
hanging out.
Hey, let's imagine
Okay.
I was totally flirting with Chrissy. All right? I mean, I was flirting and you saw it all go down.
And I just walk up and shove you?
Yeah,
like can't do it. Shove you. And they literally, she shoved her. They both fell down. One ended up with a ruptured eardrum and a fractured skull. Wow. She's looking at up to a year in jail.
Yeah, well, yeah, she almost killed Erica.
Okay.
She did. She ruptured her eardrum and fractured her skull.
That is crazy. Over a shove.
Over a shove.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference of that one? You know, the girl that pushed the girl off the
touche.
The bridge.
Okay. Well, I mean, she was like over a bridge.
Yeah, but you know, girls are clumsy.
Albert says in that situation, I feel like Chrissy would attack before Steve-O had the chance to. That might be.
you're
Yeah,
probably right.
she can take care of herself.
Mm-hmm. You're probably right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They had good chemistry, man, but see what happens, guys? You mix alcohol in there. Next thing you know, you're looking at a year in jail. Or you have a fractured skull and a ruptured eardrum.
See, wow. That's just, that story is still insane to me, regardless of where it happened. Does that happen often?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think it does. I'm really wanting to YouTube some good fights.
No. Moving on.
No, I'm serious. They can't cuss on TV, bro. News?
Anchor fights?
Anchor fights. Yes.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yes, fights on
man.
air. Let's do this.
I'm just telling you right now.
All right, we got live TV gone wrong news bloopers of all time. When news reporters lose control. Is that the dude from Saved by the Bell?
2 CNN commentators? See, I'm telling you.
All right, let's do this one.
I'm telling you.
Wait, we can't play CNN. We need Fox News.
No, I'm just saying I don't think.
We need Fox News.
I'm
CNN's not allowed on this station.
because I'm all antsy and nervous
CNN
right now.
is not allowed on this station. All right, well, you know what? Let's go with it anyways.
Commentator Scotty Hughes, who supports Mr. Trump, and Angela Rye, the former executive
sitting
director
next to
of
each other.
Congressional Black
Well,
Caucus.
of course.
So bringing you both in here. Angela, just
Pause
first
it.
to you.
They're talking about the president on CNN. Of course they're going to get into a fight.
Who's left and who's right?
But here's the thing. Okay, well, one's wearing red and one's wearing blue, so duh.
You really think that has something to do with it? You really do?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
I do.
All right.
Yeah, but it says they call each other liars. I'm like, come on. Did they actually? They don't fight.
Oh,
Enough.
yeah? Let's find out.
He did have narcotics in his system. Yes, they
Look at how
did,
fired
but
up she
these are
is.
all facts. These are all facts. And you know what? You can sit there and criticize Mr. Trump for involving. Why don't you criticize President Obama? Who got involved?
gosh.
Even
burn
Eric-
face!
Now, listen, Mr. Trump
Nobody wants
and
burn
you've got Rudy
face!
Giuliani both have said.
All right, get out of here with that.
Yeah, nobody cares. Everything about this segment is dumb.
Let's see. Man, all of these are over Trump.
Well, yeah, right.
Morning show hosts lose it when weatherman talks swinging loud. Okay.
Moving on. I found your story about leaving the cult of Colin.
Did you find? We already talked about that.
I know.
I'm going to find a good fight here.
Okay.
News anchor responds to critic over her weight. That's a good one.
You know what stinks? I'll save it.
No, you go ahead. I'm trying to find something.
I know you are.
Trying to find
And
a
I'm
good
like
one.
nervous over it.
Well, if I can find
Courtesy
a Fox
of our
News
week
one.
that we've had.
If I can find a Fox new one, we know it's safe.
No.
Ooh, news anchor cat fights. Yep, actual cat. Check this out. Oh, did you see that?
Okay,
that cat actually attacked that woman.
That was like a cat attacking a news anchor. It's totally different.
Jeez. All right. You know what? I'll find some. I'll find one for you guys.
Poor DJ Boss
find
Man
one.
Dan. He has to listen to all this.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Amanda says news anchor bloopers are so funny.
No. Okay, bloopers? Yes.
Fine, I'll put bloopers in.
Especially across the pond. So, yeah, Paul's like, dump button on standby. Nicole says the ladies on The View are always cray. But that's why I don't watch that
Oh,
junk.
gosh.
That's like
that is the worst to
that's
watch.
seriously what they do. That is their purpose.
I get so uncomfortable
To
when I
fight.
watch that. Do you ever feel just uncomfortable when you
Yes,
watch
right now.
a big fight? I'm going to make Steve-O so uncomfortable.
You already are. It's okay.
Just need to find the right clip. Ooh, Childish Gambino has a new song. 505-338-3700 if you'd like to chime in, call in. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about hamburgers actually being good for you, or
churches becoming more like gangs?
Ooh, that's a good one. You want to do that one?
Well, I mean, we're talking about fighting. To quote Relevant Magazine, we live in a time when people go to a building on Sunday mornings, attend an hour-long service, and call themselves Christians.
Christians.
Does that sound shocking to you? Of course not. It's America 2018. It's what we grew up with. It's what we know. But have you ever read the New Testament? Do you find anything in Scripture that is even remotely close to the pattern that we've created in America 2018? Do you find anyone who, quote, went to church? Like, imagine Paul and Peter talking and saying, hey, Pete, where are you going to church now? And Pete's like, oh, hey, Paul, I go to the river. They've got great music and the kids program is dope. And then Peter is like, word, can we go check out your church next week? I'm not getting much out of mine. And then Paul's like, totally, dog. But I'm not going to be there next Sunday because Matthew has soccer. But what about the week after? And then Peter's like, sounds good, man. Hey, do they have a good singles group there? And then the Apostle Paul's like, heck yeah, bro. And I would know because I'm totes single. And then
What?
Peter's like, heck yeah, dog.
And that
What?
That. So if that's happening, your church is becoming like a gang?
That's what this article is stating. I'm not saying it's actually becoming like a gang, but according to one article within the Christian culture, they believe churches are becoming more like gangs. They said, of course, it's stupid to think about, the Apostle Paul and Peter talking this way, but that's like the norm in Christianity 2018. He said there are so many things wrong with the above conversation. I don't even know where to start. The fact that we've reduced the sacred mystery of church to a 1-hour service we attend is staggering. That's the way that it's been defined for years, though. So let's think about the gang.
Okay, first off, when I think of a gang, if I thought of a church becoming like a gang,
yeah,
I would think first off members-only jackets.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I understand the mentality because we've talked about cliques aplenty, cliques in church, but yes, members only jackets
Right.
would be important.
Yeah.
Yep. The reason this happened is because a friend of his, who is now one of the elders at his church, spent a lot of his life in gangs. He found Jesus when he was in prison. He was placed in solitary confinement. And today, he's one of the most loving dudes this guy knows. He said, after hearing all of these stories of gang life and the fear he felt when he left his gang to join the body of Christ, this dude started thinking about the fear he has when considering church or what service even, or what group to join. And I'm going, dang, dude.
Wow.
Have we really put fear into this so much that it's become like joining a gang?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense when
Yeah.
you put it that way. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But why not just try it out? Why put so much pressure on yourself of picking the right church right out the gate? Why isn't it okay just to try out different churches?
Yeah, in the beginning. Sure. Somebody says, he chimed in saying that the gang was his family. They were loyal, dear friends who looked out for him 24 hours a day. There was a love and a camaraderie from being in a gang that he enjoyed since childhood. And he was sad because he was going to lose the relationships. He was going to be hated by all of them. And when this dude's describing gang life, much of it sounded like what the church was meant to be. Like, obviously, there's major differences, like drugs, murder.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Things like that,
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy style. But the idea of being a family is essential to both, quote, gang life and God's design for the church. In fact, recently, Craig Rochelle did a message called Stop Going to Church. And it was all about how, like, if you're just there to go to church, stop. Don't go to church. Just stop. But we are called to be planted somewhere, and it's much deeper than just going somewhere, right? Pastor Sept's going through this entire series right now of, like, the family and our functions. And, I think of all of this, like, how we function as a member of the church and what our role is and what we're supposed to be doing. So, because obviously people are going, okay, this is ridiculous, but every week it's like people asking like, yo, how was church this weekend? It was like, yeah, it was good. You know, it's cool. Your hour-long hang sesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
My tribe. We dope.
My tribe.
My tribe, dog. We good. Paul says, Calvary Crips, bro. Throw your set in the air.
Okay.
Megan says, gang churches? Yeah. Gang churches.
Yeah. I'm trying to think as far as I get what the guy's saying, being a part of gangs and stuff. So is this article, is it specifically talking about the evangelical church, or is it just churches in general? Because
just churches in general.
I immediately think of the Church of Scientology.
Yeah,
think about that.
Oh,
if you
dude.
try to leave the Church of Scientology,
That is like a gang.
Yeah. No, man, they harass you and make your life a complete hell.
Yeah.
Who knows the other things that happen? We've all seen the documentaries.
Yeah. Man. Okay. Phone lines are open. People chiming in on the text on the live line 505-585-LIVE. Somebody said, I believe it, man. As far as the 2018 church, somebody else said, oh, Relevant Magazine wrote this article? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Just kidding. Just telling you. Britt says, my church is a gang for sure. For show.
What does that mean? For show?
I don't know. I mean, think about it. They said, is it just a nice niche thing, a cliche thing to say that the church should be like a family? I mean, it's a great thought, but our families are our families. Does God really expect us to be this close with people we're not even related to, people we wouldn't even choose to be friends with? Because it's natural to be close with your family. It's unnatural to experience this with people who are not like you, but that's exactly the point. It's not natural, it's supernatural. So we should treat each other like, sadly, it's saying like a gang member. Like, you would do anything for this person that you're not even...
Yeah, you're immediately trying to find that clique, you know? Oh, this person's not like me. I need to find a group that's more like me.
Mm-hmm.
What I found is when I was part of a small group, it was, there was a lot of people that weren't even necessarily my age, but I learned so much from those people. You know, I was able to connect with those people on other levels rather than, wanting to connect with them on like a personal friendship where we want to hang out and go do things together. There's, I think, more to it. You
know? I actually had a weird experience showing a church gang mentality. Somebody said the church I was attending needed a space to host a small group young family Bible study. I asked and had permission to use an auxiliary room from another church because it was central to everyone attending. We met twice. Schrader said she couldn't let us use their facility anymore because it was a, quote, conflict of ministry.
Wow.
Because they were from another church. Why do we do that? Why do we
I
act
don't
like
know.
that?
I have no
Because it's
idea.
funny. It's like, on one hand, they're like, it should be like a gang because we're family and we should like be willing to die for one another. I would take a bullet for you. But then it's like, sadly, the only way it's like a gang, as we're seeing, is because we're very territorial and protective.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, dog, here. And I'm like, these are interesting things. But what say you, Starmy? I want to know because I've never really had to think about it that way.
Treating it more like a business.
Yeah. Because Britt says, man, that's pathetic. Like, could you imagine? Like, I love it when the body of Christ gets together. Like, when Ben came in from Legacy Church, that was dope. Hanging out with him and Justin, just talking about what God is doing in the South Valley with their youth ministry. You know what I mean? And and Cody didn't come in here like, bro.
Yeah.
I run the streets here, dog. This is my youth program up in these heights, and it's like, why do we do that? Like, no one was doing that, which was amazing. So I love it when we actually can act like the church, capital C. But yeah, Paul says, I mean, I concur with said statement. You know what I'm saying? Anna says, it's like in the book of Acts, everybody was taking care of each other. Like, for real.
Yeah.
It was like Dex's beautiful idea of socialism. Everyone was helping everyone.
just thinking about this, I actually have a situation where I felt, now that I think about it, I was treating a church in town like a gang, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until now.
See?
So I was gonna go for a run. It was a Sunday morning, and I was gonna go for a run around the academy. Guess you know what church is there? You used to go.
I used to go there,
Hoffmantown Church.
Yeah.
Before I went for my run, I had to go to the bathroom. Well, the only way I could go to the bathroom is to like go into church when church was starting.
Oh, wait, on a Sunday?
On a Sunday. So people, you have the door greeters.
Oh, snap.
So I'm walking in and I have my shorts and my hat on.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to go
Like
for a run.
running clothes.
But I got to go. And I immediately was thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm coming to church, but I'm not. And so the door greeter goes, so glad you're here today. I'm just so glad that you made it to church this weekend. And I'm just sitting there going, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. So then I get inside and I'm thinking, now I have to go to church.
Now it's like when you go into a restaurant or a place that you want to use a bathroom,
Right.
but it's like you got to buy something.
Right. Now I have
in
to
order to use
attend.
it. You got to go to church.
So I'm sitting there going, all I wanted to do was go for a run and I just need a bathroom. But now I feel like I'm in the gang
What if that
now.
was God? What if that was God telling you needed to go to church on Sunday? And he just he appointed Hoffmantown for you that Sunday.
Here's what I
What
found.
if the pastor just shared something
Here's what I found.
that you needed to hear?
To be in this gang, you
Yeah.
have to be over 60 and have
Yes.
silver hair.
No, that's also very true.
So I was like, you know what? I'm good. I can't even be a
Yeah,
part of this gang
exactly.
because, I mean, I'm
You don't
39.
meet the criteria.
Exactly.
You don't meet the
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like Cocoon waiting for the alien ship. That's what it was like.
So, you know what, though? Bringing it back around, you mentioned in the beginning, like, well, why can't we try out churches? And I do agree, when you're first starting, it's like, where do I go? What do I do? You want to be with like-minded people, you know what I mean? Doctrinally speaking, and even, like, just where you're at in life speaking. I love being able to talk to, like, other new parents and friends that are going through life at the same pace.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, but when is it okay? Where's that time where you're not allowed to leave the church?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks.
Kidding.
Because
There's
you're
no
like,
time.
but no, hold
Like-
on. You just said, you're like, I think it's great when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but how long attending that church do you have before you can get out of the gang? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what's the time frame we're looking at before? Because I've heard before, and I think we should get a pastor in to try to answer this question, but I've heard and I was taught that once you become a part of a church, you're not allowed to leave that church until God has, now, this is weird to me, but God has given you the okay or the, no, I'm serious.
No,
That's what I was
know.
taught.
That's
like,
what you were taught.
right.
but-
Like you have to go through the proper channels to leave the church, because if you start attending another church, it's wrong. I don't know about that, man.
Well, duh. I mean, it depends. That you're talking what, Scientology?
No.
Like, where are we at here? I
Christian
know.
churches.
Phone line's blowing up. by
That's
the
what
way.
I'm talking about.
Good job.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
waiting.
calling.
You
Thank
guys
you.
doing such a good
You
job.
guys can just
holding.
let
By
it
the way, our
ring.
boy
Just let it
Ben
ring.
from Legacy chimed in. What? He said that was a great impression of Cody.
What do we have to do
Dope.
to get in?
Yes. Yes.
Gang colors,
I mean,
signs. What do you think? Do you think talking about this article?
Speaking of gangs, hold on. Daniel, were you listening to the show this morning? Oh my gosh, hilarious. Okay. We're on, well, I mean, you want to. Daniel just texted us photos of the praying mantis on your car. It's still,
still
on your
there?
car.
Still there.
Oh my gosh.
It came from the west side with them.
Yeah, at 3:30 this morning.
So he found like a creepy website that basically over spiritualized everything, and it was like he was his protector trying to get him here because it was about to go bad for him. Maybe it's protecting your car from the thieves in our parking
Good
lot that
call,
keep
man.
stealing everything.
Yes.
Dang it! It needs to jump over to my car.
I can't
need
believe
my
that
car
thing is
way
still
more
there.
than you do. So.
Friends to come and sit on the rest of it.
Yes, exactly. This
Oh,
is ridiculous.
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Poor little dude.
Sorry, I just totally threw us for a loop.
I just
That's
hope
your, is that your gang symbol?
Yeah,
the
man.
praying mantis?
We're the praying mantises.
Yes! The praying
Praying
mantises?
mantises, yeah.
Praying
We're-
manti, bro.
We're the praying manti.
Yeah, praying manti.
I like praying mantises.
Praying...
Praying mantises.
Cool, man. All right. Good times.
Gangs, what do you think? Are churches becoming more like gangs is the question we throw out here?
Somebody said, gangs kill you for leaving. Religions just shun you. That's okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Some of them do.
Spiritually kill you? Excommunicate you? What are you talking about?
I don't know, man.
Saying.
Hi,
I think it's all in the way that we view the church. It's all in the way that we look at it. What is our perspective on the church? Because I do think there are some things where it's like, yeah, I can see how it's like gang-like, if you will, but remember the Stormy Chime said their previous church had a biker gang. Okay. That's word.
All right. We got to take a quick break. You guys can chime in on Facebook, YouTube at Star 88 FM. Also, you can call us 505-338-3700. We'll be right back.
A supernova on Star 88 with David Jeremiah.
Sometimes you would think, and maybe we think this way here today, if God has been good to me over here and he's shown me to be strong, I'm set for life. I'll never have to doubt that again. But then you get to the next crisis and you forget the God who has been with you in the past and you go through it all over. Isn't that what happens to us often? And Jesus is getting after the disciples. He's rebuking them, saying, why don't you learn? You need to understand that if you're in a storm and I'm in the boat with you, everything's okay. You need to worry more about being in a storm and I'm not in the boat. Sometimes when we face danger, it's a natural human reaction to wonder if there even is a God. Or maybe we should go and try to wake God up. Maybe God's asleep like Jesus was in the boat.
Turning Point with David Jeremiah. Don't miss it on our sister station, KNKT, weekdays at 11 a.m. on 107.1 FM. Ravi Zacharias said this: human beings are not an accidental blip on the radar screen of time. We are made with a specific purpose. That's a solar flare on Star 88. Christine Kane challenges us to not just look at those around us, but to see the person as Christ sees them in this Star 88 PowerPoint.
You know, my husband, he is an awesome man, but he has this incredible case of domestic blindness. And he will yell to me, Christine, have you seen the milk? Like, what do you mean? The 68 cartons right in front of you on that middle shelf. Or when it comes to, you know, have you seen my shirt? Oh, the one that's hanging. All 15 of them in black, like Gary. There, it's right there. It's right. Do you see it? There's like this domestic blindness that happens. We could go through something and you could be at a supermarket with someone, they're like, did you see that person? You're so consumed in yourself, you didn't see the person that even scanned your items. You didn't even see the person on the side of the street. You didn't even see the pain or the suffering in the person in your workplace. You saw you kind of looked at a boss that seemed angry, but you didn't see the person behind it. It's amazing how much we look at, but we do not see.
That's Christine Kane on a Star 88 PowerPoint.
Hey, what's going on in the news today?
Tropical storm Gordon bringing heavy rain and gusty winds to Florida. President Trump launching new attacks on his own attorney general.
The indictment of 2 Republican congressmen ahead of the midterm elections.
Pope Francis called for silence in response to allegations that he kept quiet when told that a cardinal was guilty of sex abuse.
At least 6 states are under flood watches or advisories.
Overseas, a U.S. service member has been killed in what military officials call an apparent insider attack in Afghanistan.
Colin Kaepernick is not on an NFL roster, but he does have a new contract. He'll be the face of Nike's ad campaign for the 30th anniversary of its Just Do It slogan.
Helicopters and divers desperate to find 3 people still missing after 2 boats collided head-on in the Colorado River along the Arizona-California border.
DeChambeau, his 3rd victory in his last 9 PGA Tour starts. Victory, and with it, he will be the #1 seed in Atlanta for the Tour Championship.
Are we live?
Oh, good what?
Good morning. Yeah, come on. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show. Live from the Dreams Tower Remodeling, Star 88 Studios. Oh, how's everybody's Tuesday happening? Is it happening yet? Is it going on? Because mine is thrown off. 3-day weekends. I hate them.
Oh.
I hate them. I don't like them.
Oh, I mean,
I'd rather just have come to work.
okay. If you need a pick-me-up this morning, we just got one from Bawitaba. Here's some good news. I'll post this to our Facebook page. There's a new album called Holding Fast. It's a free album. Songs of Grace for Rebel Hearts. Dude, Citizens is on there. Shy Lynn is on there. Our girl Liz Weiss is on there. That's got some great tracks. 16 tracks. Free album. They just put out like, hey, you should have this because maybe you're just going through something and you need some good music. Here you go, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So it's the worst Monday, Tuesday in the history of Monday, Tuesdays. So let's just give you some free music.
Some free music.
Yeah, like a whole free album. Is that cool?
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, in honor of Monday, Tuesday, you know?
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Guys. It's a Monday, Tuesday. Coming up at 9, we have an interview.
Yes.
Steve-O's really pumped about it.
Yeah.
His name is Matt Hirschler.
His name is Chris Hewett. Yeah.
And he loves tests.
No.
He loves testing
I can't
you
wait.
Because he wants to... He's like a psychic. He can tell what personality you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not it at all. I can't wait to talk to him because it's way more than just a personality test. And I think that's usually what happens is like, is people see certain things and go, oh, well, this personality test.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to help me. It's going to tell me which Harry Potter house I'm in. It's not a Facebook quiz, guys. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. You're live on the air.
Go ahead. This is Debbie. Thank you for the birthday song.
Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. How old are you?
9.
You're 9 already?
So great.
You're 9? Get out of here. You're not 9.
I'm 52 inches.
Oh, wow.
52 inches? That's so tall.
Yeah.
And then Dex calls me like every year.
I know. That's what I heard.
I do.
We had to make a video for you this morning because it was like, dude, this girl's birthday's a big deal. Let's do this.
How many years have I been calling you? How old were you when I called you the first time?
5.
You were 5. So I've been doing this for 4 years. Even when I got fired, I found out a way. I was at home one morning with my daughter, and we actually did a video for her. But
that's cool.
It's kind of like a little thing we do every year.
It's a tradition.
So, yeah, it's a tradition.
There you go.
So,
glad we could keep it going.
Yep, Debbie. We always say it. Like we hope when you turn 18, we're still doing it. We're still doing the birthday call.
If Dex is still around,
I'll be around.
Well,
I'll be somewhere.
Maybe.
So
he hasn't taken care of his body the best, so.
Yeah, right.
He'll get you.
Debbie, you have a great day, okay?
Okay, because my mom got me a phone. I'm calling you on my phone.
Oh, you got a phone?
Oh, my gosh.
Would you get the iPhone 10?
iPhone 6, I think.
You got the 6?
Okay.
I don't think the 6 works anymore.
Wait, yeah, it totally works.
I don't think so,
how
man.
old are
you got to
this
upgrade to
year?
the 10.
How old?
9.
He's 9.
I need to talk to your mom.
Oh,
I need
man.
to talk to your mom.
6 doesn't even work.
6. I'm just.
My mom's holding the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, enjoy your phone. Stay away from Fortnite and gangs, okay?
Yep. Debbie, we love you. Happy birthday.
I play Roblox all day long.
Roadblock all day long.
But Roadblock
Gosh.
leads to Fortnite.
Okay.
We know that.
Thank you so much for calling, Deborah. Debbie. Little Deb.
You're welcome. Bye, Debbie. Happy birthday. Bye. Talk to you next year. What a
I mean,
sweetheart. She's
now
such a
it
sweetheart.
sounds like we're going to talk to her a lot more because you got a phone for 9 years old, Mom. Come on. 9.
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I too harsh?
No. I mean, you're strict.
Mm-hmm.
But
My 12-year-old does not have a phone.
You're also a good parent.
My 12-year-old.
No? What? Jack just got, 14 is when Jack got? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems to be.
Sure.
And he's been pretty responsible with it, right?
Yes, he has.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
It's Brett.
I know. We're waiting.
Hi, Brett.
That's the longest pause. It's getting longer and longer.
What are you doing?
Hey,
Longer.
what I want to know is why didn't I get a phone call for my birthday or a video?
Well, because you don't ask.
Oh, my gosh.
You have to ask.
No, I did ask.
That's not wrong, actually. She did ask.
You did?
She did on the show. She totally talked to us about her birthday.
I asked for you to call me on my birthday, a shout out, anything.
I don't
I didn't
remember
get anything.
I don't remember this.
Man.
How long ago was this?
Yeah.
Well, my birthday was in March. So.
That was so long ago. I
Well,
can't remember that.
Well, you know what? I think that maybe you should remember next year because this little 9-year-old got a phone call and I've never gotten a phone call. And this 4 years in a row, you remember that every year.
So high maintenance, aren't we?
Yeah.
Are we a little high maintenance?
Everyone pray for Seth. Pray for Seth. Didn't we? I swear I told you happy birthday in March. I swear.
I'm pretty sure we
I'm
we
pretty
both
sure I
did.
did. I'm pretty sure I did.
No, I don't think either of you guys told me.
No,
happy
I totally
birthday.
did. Yeah. So there you go.
No.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
My anniversary is on Friday, though.
Oh gosh. Well, we don't celebrate
How many years?
those.
How many years?
4 years.
4
Okay.
years. Yeah. Come talk to me when you've been married for 15. We'll see
Yeah.
what marriage
Yeah.
is like.
Hey, how old do you think you should be when you get your first cell phone?
Oh my goodness! I think high school.
High school? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Yeah,
chiming in
like
left and right.
freshmen.
Freshmen in high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Seth and I aren't getting our kids' phones to high school.
Okay. We'll see. By that point, they might just be implanted into their brains.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or their
You're
You can
right,
just communicate
actually.
with
or
them
their
directly.
wrist. Maybe their wrist.
You know what? The youth kids on Friday night, I am so nosy with their phones. When they're on their phones, I'm like, who are you texting? Who are you texting?
Good.
What are you doing?
Keep at it. Keep at it.
Especially little Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, is he not paying
Because
attention?
I really have permission since I know his parents, so
Yes,
it's like
you
I
do.
can really,
Yep.
be
Get
like
after that.
investigator.
Mhm.
So I'm like, who are you talking to? Who is
Mhm.
she? How do you know her? Is she a Christian? He's like, she's just my friend. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Wow.
So, yeah, I really get, these kids on their phones, because they like to be on their phones all the time.
Well, so do
I
you,
kinda
Britt.
right now.
So
we have
do
to
you.
make sure.
Yeah.
You know, we're all a bunch of hypocrites.
So I just need you to put a little reminder in your phone deck. That would be great.
What are we
Doing
So
it
next
right
year
now.
I get
What is it?
a happy birthday, okay?
Well, when's your birthday?
All of March.
All of March.
Yeah, it's a month.
Siri, remind
kind of
me in
event.
2019 to say happy birthday to Britt March 1st.
Are you talking to Siri?
Yeah. All right. It says say happy birthday to Brett March 1st. Gotcha.
Got it.
I have one last question for
okay.
you before I hang up. Can you request for someone to be your Uber driver?
See,
No,
I don't
no,
think you
yeah,
can.
no.
I don't think that's possible.
Since you're on the phone and you're giving us advice, we have a question from a member of the Starmy. I just had an hour and 15-minute commute having to drop kids off at school, and because of all the delays, he's going to be late to the meeting. So the question is it better to show up 25 minutes late or just call ahead and apologize / reschedule? What do you think? Like, he's going to be 25 minutes late to his regular weekly meeting for his team. Reschedule?
Okay, so
apologize?
here's my question.
Yeah.
It hasn't already started, right? It's like future, like he's
Still in
it started.
traffic, but he's going to be about 25 minutes late. So he emailed his team
What
that he
I
was going to
would
be late,
personally
but he's
do-
like, should I have just canceled?
I would ask.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to be late.
You're the
Would
boss. You
prefer
never
if we
ask.
reschedule?
Gosh, you never
No,
ask as
you
the
still
boss. You're
ask.
giving
That's
your
rude.
subordinates authority. You just gave them power over you. Oh, Britt.
No.
Trick question,
no.
you failed. You say, I'm the boss. You're on my time. Oh,
See, that's
okay.
why I don't like bosses like that, because they have no consideration for people.
Good call, Britt. Good call. Hey, if you need
That's exactly the kind of boss I don't want to be under.
Britt, we got a busy show. We got a lot going on. But if you need an Uber, just shoot me a text, all right?
No, I really do need an Uber.
Oh,
Seth needs one for the airport in the morning.
Okay,
because I'm
hit me
not
up.
gonna
What
take him.
time? What time?
You're not going to take him to the airport.
Yeah, I will.
Whatever.
That's my job.
Yeah,
What time? What time does he have to be at the
sure.
airport? What time does he have to be at the
we
airport?
have to pay you? It's not going to be on the house?
What time does he have to be at the
Oh, man.
airport?
He has to be at the airport at 2 o'clock in the morning.
All right, I'll see you. I'll pick him up. All right? Text
Whatever.
me. We got to
bye.
go. Bye. Gosh. We have such a busy show. We have so much going on.
Yeah.
We have an interview at 9.
We do.
And Britt just wants to talk about, getting Seth to the airport.
I'm just saying.
It's like Seth is the center of her universe. Or something.
Well, but to be fair, we are like family, and we're talking earlier about like how churches are like gangs, and so maybe that's just because we've created such a tight-knit community called the Starmy, and
Are we a
they
gang?
depend upon us.
Are we a gang?
No, I mean,
We're a gang and we don't even know it.
We do have our own hashtag, the Morning Invasion.
What if we're a gang and we don't
So,
even realize
We don't
it?
even realize it, but we kind of
Do most
somehow-
gangs realize they're even gangs? What do you think, caller? Go ahead.
Seriously, you need to start with that.
Talking
he
gangs.
didn't know- he didn't
Do
know
you
it was
think we're
you.
a gang? Do you think we're a gang?
Okay, first of all, you're not a gang.
Okay.
Gangs are fairly organized. All right?
All right.
You guys are not organized. Secondly, for the woman that you were just talking to about calling her on her birthday, I'm just going to tell her, don't hold your breath because they're not going to call you. Hey, maybe Steve-O will, but Dex for sure won't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Good call.
Because, how long did we work together? How long have we known each other? Like half of your life, basically.
Yeah, almost
half
15
of your life.
Half my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so young.
And you don't know you're not so young. And you didn't even call me on my birthday.
That's true. Well, I didn't get that Facebook announcement that it was your birthday.
Well, sure you did. You just didn't look.
I just didn't look.
You get them every day. Everybody does.
Well, I didn't look.
Steve-O, do you get yours every day?
I don't go on Facebook every day. So, I mean, if I did, I would definitely get them every day, but no.
I will say, you know what, Buck, one great thing that I've noticed about you is, like, you are always wishing everybody a happy birthday.
He's really good about it.
I see that a lot.
Yep.
Every day, man. You know what? You have to, like, sometimes those people just really appreciate the fact that you're taking your time out of the day just to say happy birthday to them. It's like, it's something that I've thought about, you know, I don't know, probably a year or so ago. And I had wished some random friend on Facebook a happy birthday. And it, like, meant the world to him, you know? And it literally took me, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And so I've made it my mission to try to, I think I might miss a day every now and then, but I think I'm pretty good about always wishing people a happy birthday.
No, I see it almost every day. You do a good job.
No, thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thanks. So what's going on, guys?
Oh,
What's new?
busy.
How are you?
Got a busy show, man. We got an author coming up here in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's
I'm
his last
texting.
name? Arthur
His
what?
name is Chris Hewett, the sacred Enneagram.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Enneagram?
No. Tell me what it is.
Okay.
Sounds fascinating.
It goes back to, like, the early 1900s or late 1800s. It's without doing it a disservice, which I'm actually going to do anyways, is some would call it a personality test, which it's way deeper than a personality test, but it just basically breaks people up into 9 different types of characters, if you will. And it helps you discover, you know, why you tend to think things a certain way or act out on things a certain way or do things a certain way. And it's pretty fascinating. And this guy studied under Mother Teresa and uses this as a way to...
She was a scholar?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Finding your path, basically, in Jesus Christ by, hey, you know, we have this Enneagram, these great personality type quizzes, if you will, that can show us about our tendencies, about why we do things a certain way. And again, I'm totally butchering it, which is why I'm excited to talk to an actual professional coming up. So,
you know what? I'll go ahead and just, I'll give you my thought right now, and you can decide whether you want to do the interview or not. It's all about a person's heart.
Yeah.
You know, what is your heart telling you? What do you want in your heart right at that moment when you decide to either love someone, be cruel to someone, whatever? You know, there's something that's happening in your heart at that very moment.
Yeah.
And what is it?
Yep.
That's good, man.
There you go.
That's good.
I just saved you 6.5 minutes.
Okay. Now we got a full hour with this guy.
Oh my goodness! Why are you gonna do it live on the air?
Well, yeah, we're interviewing him. But we're doing an interview. We're
I have to go
talking
Uber.
to an author.
I got to go Uber. So.
You have to what?
You heard me.
You have to Uber?
Yeah, I'm an Uber and Lyft driver. Call me, bro. Why don't you call your friend every once in a while and find out what he's doing with his life?
Do you even have a car?
Gotta go, bro. Edna and I just Ubering around town. Miss you, Edna. I'll never give up on you, Edna. That's my old car. So we got this guy when we come back?
Yeah.
The sacred Enneagram, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find all about it when we come back. Hang out.
I love the food at the fair. I want to go on a roller coaster.
My wife and I had our first date at the fair.
For 80 years, the New Mexico State Fair has warmed hearts, brought families and friends together, and created lifelong memories. This year, come and celebrate everything you love about the fair.
I really like the animals in the petting zoo. I like the pygmy goats. They're funny.
The 2018 New Mexico State Fair, September 6th through 16th.
The memories are always the best.
Love is in the fair.
This week on Walk in the Word, prepare to be transported to the dry, sandy climate of ancient Egypt. We'll stand with Moses as he confronts Pharaoh, experience Passover with the Israelites, and cross the Red Sea. And along the way, we'll learn a foundational biblical truth. God always makes a way for his people. Listen all week to James McDonald and Walk in the Word.
Make an appointment with James McDonald, weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on our sister station, KNKT 107.1 FM. This is a fresh thought. Listen up to Levi Lusko.
What we need to be focused more on is not just what we eat, but what we need.
and that is bread of a different sort. That's bread of a different kind entirely. The most important eating we do is spiritually. The most important eating we do is spiritually. Listen to me very carefully. What you're truly hungry for is not more followers on Instagram. It's not more money in the bank account. It's not fine meals and fancy trips. It's not any of the things that in this body we hunger for. What we truly are hungry for is God. And that's why Jesus said, listen to me, I am the bread of life. You are speaking to me, asking me for more bread and more fish, but you should be asking me to give you what will truly satisfy the ache of your soul, a relationship with me.
For more fresh thoughts, go to LeviLusco.com. This is KLYT Albuquerque, Santa Fe, rebroadcast on KKCJ Cannon Air Force Base, KPKJ Mintmore, K201CC Las Cruces, K203EZ Alamogordo, K207CQ Gallup, K211CW Hobbs, K212EH Silver City, K214DE Antonito, K218AK Artesia, K250AB Roswell, K293AO Alamosa, K228DQ Portales, in the free app for iOS and Android, and online at star88.fm.
So stuck inside my comfort zone, I point the finger but the blame is my own. I've heard the stories of the great unknown. I think it's time for me to go. Lord, take me somewhere my heart has to grow. I wanna break out, take me away from what I know. Show me a life that relies on you alone. I wanna live loud and speak with a love that overflows. I wanna walk with a faith and a strength that's not my own, into the great unknown. I know you're calling me to greater things, beyond the limits of my insecurities, out into waters that are far too deep. But that's when your love starts changing me. Lord, take me deeper than I've ever known. I wanna break out, take me away from what I know. Show me a life that relies on you alone. I wanna live loud and speak with a love that overflows. I wanna walk with a faith and a strength that's not my own, into the great unknown. Lord, take me somewhere my heart has to grow. You lead, I'll follow into the unknown. I wanna break out, take me away from what I know. Show me a life that relies on you alone. Yeah, I wanna live loud and speak with a love that overflows. I wanna walk with a faith and a strength that's not my own, into the great unknown. Into the great unknown.
The Morning Invasion.
Next message. I usually call in and joke every morning, but I wanted to keep it real for a second. Everybody knows why Star 88 is phenomenal, and that has to do with the Morning Invasion. And more specifically, the Star Me speaking on behalf of the Army, knows exactly why. And it's because of two gentlemen. You two gentlemen are the most awesome part of our morning as far as the Star Army is concerned, and you guys make it fabulous. You guys talk about real truth, the gospel truth. You guys play some good music, and you guys are hilarious.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Yep, that's us. That's us, everybody. Good morning. Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 studios.
What up, dog?
I can't even believe how pumped Steve-O is for this interview. We've interviewed some of the biggest celebrities
dude, don't ruin
in
this for me.
all
This
the
is
land.
true. This is actually
And
true.
Chris, are you there? Yeah, Chris, Steve-O has been talking
We
about
had
your book.
Rev Run on the show
Have
on
your
Friday.
book sales just skyrocketed?
We had Leah Thompson on the show. I mean, come on, man. The mom from Back to the Future and one half of Run DMC. I mean, 1/3. Just saying. But this is, I'm not going to lie. I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous. Let's be real.
Hi, Chris. Chris, are you there? Chris, did we lose you? Hello, Chris. Chris.
We lost him.
We lost Chris.
I could call him back.
You want to call him back? I don't have his number. Chris, hello. Chris?
He's probably calling line.
Hey.
Oh, there you are, Chris.
You there?
What happened?
I am.
Did you hit mute on your cheek? Did your cheek hit mute?
I'm just trying to behave over here. Maybe it was divine intervention.
Maybe.
Probably a good thing you didn't hear anything I just
lost
said.
you. I was like talking Rev Run. I'm like, oh, he got intimidated because we had the Reverend on our show on Friday. So, dude, welcome to the show.
Yeah, appreciate you guys including me.
How was our beautiful city? You were here for a few days, weren't you?
Yes, I was in Albuquerque for about 40 hours, and it was gorgeous. I love it. I love that town.
That's cool.
Dude, it was a good weekend. It definitely was. So, okay, a little backstory, because, you know, our listening audience, they've heard me talk about this a little bit, but give us some insight into your universe. When I discovered you, it was because my buddy Ryan from Sleeping at Last was doing a podcast on this Enneagram stuff, and I'd given it a shot about a year ago, and I was like, man, that's really interesting, and kind of put it to bed like most like Facebook quizzes. And then turned 40 and just being super transparent, like started dealing with some things, and this for some reason kept popping up, and I jumped on this podcast and I heard this dude speaking, and I was like, this guy grew up with me and knows my soul, and I'm a little freaked out by it, so I don't know what to do. So before we get into like Enneagram stuff, talk a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and that's where I'm actually from. Grew up here and moved away to study in Kentucky. And it was while I was at university, I started to travel internationally, spent a summer term and a fall semester living in Jerusalem. And, man, I was kicking the soccer ball around with a bunch of Palestinian refugees in the city, and that just wrecked me. It changed my life in every way. And, I mean, really, like, and eventually what that meant was I ended up moving to South India as soon as I got out of college and helped start the first pediatric AIDS care home in the 8 South Asian countries. It was during really the time that I was living in India that was the last 3 or 4 years of Mother Teresa's life. And so it was fortunate to spend quite a bit of time with her before she passed. And that, of course, changed everything. And so that was the beginning of what was a 20-year career in international humanitarian work. I did a lot of anti-trafficking work, working with women and children who are primarily trafficked into the commercial sex industry, worked with a lot of children that were conscripted to fight in civil wars, parts of West Africa, and then worked with children that lived in sewers on the streets and refugee camps all over the world. And it was incredible. It was an incredible time of life, but as you can imagine, it was also really, really difficult work.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I want to immediately apologize because it's so funny. As I was reading the book, you touched on something that like really punched me in the gut, and I totally started our conversation by doing exactly what you said that we all do, which is our identity and who we are. And it's immediately like, so tell me who you are. And by that, I just mean, tell me these little tidbits of knowledge about your past so that I can piece together my own judgment of who you are, based upon your career path. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, the stories are important.
They really are.
I think it's less about what we've done and it's about who we've become based on, right? Access to opportunity or resource, introductions and invitations, the tables that we've sat at and the tables that we've prepared to host from. And so, you know, these little fragments, in a sense, don't tell you who I am, but I think these little bits of a story sort of shape the trajectory of where I've come from and maybe why some of the work I'm doing now with the Enneagram has at least what appears to be some resonance with folks, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to tell you a little bit about me, 40, you know, 3 kids, awesome wife, and I found myself in a place where it was like, dude, I have this wound, this child wound. My father passed away when I was 6 years old, and I was always kind of like trying to fill stuff, right? Fill that void and try and find significance. And you know, I became a Christian at a young age, but really had my own thing going on until my 20s, and then God really got a hold of me. But it was like, what does that look like? And here I am at this age, and I was driving to work one morning, and I had taken this little, you know, I'm de-emphasizing it purposefully so that you can re-emphasize it, but, you know, this little personality quiz that kind of shared some things that kind of struck a chord with me that made me feel uncomfortable. And I was on my way to work, driving on the freeway, and you were doing a podcast with Ryan from Sleeping at Last about type 4, which is what I am. And I had to pull my car over because I lost a contact because I was crying so hard because there was this human being that was speaking about my tendencies and about who I am in a way that I'd never heard before about why I respond a certain way to certain things. And it kind of made me nervous, actually, because I felt like I'd been like found out, you know, which I guess is very typical of 4 because I reacted super emotionally. I was like, this is it. I've discovered who I am now. I'm buying this guy's book. But really it was like this Kickstarter into what is this? What is the Enneagram? What is this all about? Because it felt differently than, say, which Harry Potter house I find myself in, or any of the other amazing Facebook quizzes out there. So talk a little bit about the Enneagram and the history of it.
Well, yeah. So this will be tons of fun. I love what the Enneagram is starting to expose for folks, and especially folks who've recently come across it.
Yeah.
If you're new to this, the Enneagram of personality, and I want to be specific about that because this teaching is potentially thousands of years old, but the personality aspect or overlay is just about 40 or 45 years old. The Enneagram sort of shows us the 9 ways of being. It's the 9 sort of descriptions of the basic human archetypes, or the 9 basic human character structures. And yes, it can actually sort of show you your patterns for how you think, act, and feel. It can show you how your personality sort of develops as maybe a reaction to a so-called childhood wound. But if I'm really getting nerdy about it, and if I really say what I mean, I think the Enneagram shows us our ego set of coping addictions that we've wrapped up around this childhood wound so that we don't have to tell ourselves the truth about who we really are.
Yeah.
And that's what's devastating for us, is that most of us don't know that we don't know who we are. And actually, most of us would prefer to stay stuck.
Yeah.
We prefer to stay hidden behind the masks that we wear. We prefer to sort of give power to the illusions of who we want to be perceived as or seen as, rather than really reconnecting with our essence and the purpose for our being and the reason actually why we're here.
Right. Man. And I'll tell you what, like hearing it instantaneously, I was going, dude, this sounds like super new agey and weird. What is happening? And then as I'm reading the book and centering everything back into the heart of how we were created by this infinite God, and we all have these different, paths, different undertakings, different stories, and yet all woven in this clear picture of who we're created to be in Christ Jesus. It was like, oh man, this is hammering me pretty hard. So when did you come across the Enneagram? Like for you, what was it that you were like, hey, this is different, and how can I use this to grow my faith?
Yeah. So like I said, I did 20 years of international humanitarian work, and when I joined that organization, there were just about 4 or 5 of us involved. A few years in, I ended up becoming the international director, and then my wife and I sort of tricked that thing out, and at its sort of most inflated point, there was 350 of us in 15 countries, and it was while I was part of that organization that I came across this, and of course, in a real intentional, intensive community, coming across a teaching that helps you understand yourself and others was really, it was right on time. But specifically, I came across it in Cambodia. I was with a friend who's working in the slums there. We were having lunch, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey man, have you ever heard of the Enneagram?" And as he began to describe it to me, there was this initial resistance in me. There was this pushback. I don't want to be controlled by sort of containers and boxes, and I don't want to be dropped into a bucket, and I don't want to be this predictable and this obvious. But, that's, I think, part of the ego defense mechanism that sort of, like I said, keeps us asleep. And what I learned, and this was over the years with incredible teachers. In fact, one of y'all's neighbors, Father Richard Rohr, was my first teacher, was that this teaching, the Enneagram itself, really is a compassionate sketch of possibilities of who we can become when we fall into the gift of our being. Like I said, when we find these paths to return to our essence, right? Yeah. To figure out that, man, we're not all of these little fragments of our identity that we've allowed to lay claim to the whole of who we are, but we're more complex, we're more beautiful, and actually much more simple than all that.
Man, wow. Dexter, I'm making Dex because
taking the test.
He is. He was immediately skeptical. Of
so
course.
I have a question. Britt, she brought up a question that I was totally thinking about because sometimes you take these tests before. I've taken one before, and
Briggs-Myers.
You kind of feel like, you know what? I don't know which one to answer because I feel like I'm both.
Right.
Like, how do you choose between the two?
Yeah. So the trick with the Enneagram is the tests are helpful. The tests can be an efficient way of discovering or bringing forward your type, right? One of these 9 human archetypes, or one of these 9 sort of character structures. The trick, though, with the tests is that they all sort of have with them sort of inherent bias. So that's racial bias, cultural bias. Even the people who develop the test probably bring some of their type bias into these tests.
Right.
So you have to really hold this gently because, it's like, somebody who's dominant in type 7, one of the little cliches or one of the little quirks they would say about folks who are 7s is they don't follow through with the things that they start. And it's like, all right, wait a second. You can't just sort of make these overarching judgments about someone without understanding that 7s really bring forward this presence and this experience of freedom. And so any time freedom is diminished, part of the 7 feels as if they're dying. And so maybe that's why it looks like they don't bring closure, is because by keeping options and opportunities open, they're actually reflecting what freedom could look like. Or, another little cliche they would say about folks who are dominant type 7 is, they just love the finer things in life. They love the exquisite. They love the material. And again, I'm like, and this is really unfair. You cannot boil somebody down to quirks and then drop them into a bucket and say, this is you.
Right.
So again, what's behind that? Well, what's behind that is, again, this drive for freedom. And so if the 7s actually are extravagant in their spending, or if it looks materialistic, actually what may be behind that is they don't even want to be controlled by what they possess, right? And that's what we learn about simplicity. If we can't give it away, then we don't possess it. It possesses us. And so again, for the 7, if they have resources, to spend them is them. It's them enacting their freedom. It's them actually saying, I won't be controlled by this bank account number or what I'm supposed to save or hold on to.
Yeah.
So the trick is when you take these tests to really look for what is the core motivation behind how you present in the world. And that may be a more vulnerable way of getting there and identifying type. But man, it's really a path of, you know what it is? It's a prayerful journey of intention. It's a pilgrimage of truthfulness, and it's the truthfulness of becoming who you always were.
What's really interesting to me is that the way you talk about, different types of people remind me of the way I want to treat all other human beings, right? Like Christ calls us to love, and yet it's so easy for me to love the Christian who thinks like me or acts like me, the non-believer who has similar tendencies with me, who has the same, say, struggles, sins, downfalls, whatever you want to call it. And yet when it's the opposite, like say, I grew up Baptist, so I always use my mom as the example. She's the sweetest little Baptist lady. She's also the one that we weren't allowed to watch certain cartoons because obviously they were imposed upon the world by Satan. And so I've always had a struggle with that person who is, I would call them legalistic, or I would say, well, this person's lashing out in this regard. And it turns out like, well, no, maybe it's because this is the way that they're showing their faith, that they're living it and they're owning it. And maybe it is a genuine thing. And I need to realize that they're just different than me. And it's such a struggle for me to interact with other types or other people like that when I feel like they're just wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think that's hard for all of us, actually. And I think all of us, to a certain extent, sort of experience this projection, right, of what we're not dealing with in ourselves. So, yes, the person that frustrates me the most, the person that annoys me the worst, the person that I find the least compassion for, in almost every instance in my life, is the fragments or the parts of myself that I don't have compassion for. And rather than do the hard work of learning to love myself, I'll just continue to project this. I'll continue to put it on someone else. I'll find a target. And that's a way of distracting myself from doing my own inner work, really, from owning these things. So I appreciate that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful confession. And the truth is that's all of our human condition. That's all of our experience. None of us are really exempt from that kind of proxy battle that we put out on someone else rather than owning in ourselves.
Man. So we have so many people chiming in left and right. Live line is open, 505-585-LIVE for those that would like to text in a question. There's so many places to take the Enneagram test, and someone wanted to know, where do you think, what's the best place for someone to take said Enneagram test? The Enneagram Institute or?
Yeah, so the folks at the Enneagram Institute are actually good friends of mine. I did a lot of my advanced training and study there, and they do have a really good test. It's the RHETI, RHETI, and I think it might be $10 or $12, but if you're looking for a test, it's actually worth spending the money. There's a lot of history and time and thoughtfulness behind what they've done there, and so that's usually where I recommend people go.
So I'd love to be selfish and talk a little bit about the 4, because Dexter and I in here, like, he's taken the test, I've taken the test, and I am a hard 4, and interestingly enough, he's a 9.
I'm a peacemaker.
You're a peacemaker.
I'm a total peacemaker.
It's interesting because I've worked and read a lot about those relationships together and how they interact, but talk about the importance of discovering what that means and how to then interact with those around us of different types.
Sure. So if there's folks listening who this is still all new to, let me run through the 9 types really quick, just to give a sense of what's out there. And then when I learned these types, of course, like you just said, like the 9 is sometimes called the arbitrator or the mediator or the peacemaker. There's names and there's handles for these types. And I think those are helpful, and it's specifically as a rhetorical tool to learn sort of the energy of the 9 types. So I'll sort of introduce it first by that. But generally, I don't use those because, again, these names sort of point to social function and role and not essence. So if we were going to use the names, and these names come from Don Riso and Russ Hudson over at the Enneagram Institute, and then Helen Palmer and Dr. David Daniels, who started the school of the narrative tradition. The one is either called the reformer or the perfectionist. And type 1 really is the need to be perfect. These are very principled people who really just set high ideals and standards and then sort of sadly frustrate themselves for not even being able to live into their own idealized notion of goodness. And this is part of how they suffer in the world, is because they're afraid. They're afraid that they'll never be good enough. But the truth is folks who are dominant in type 1 are probably the very best people we all know. Now, type 2, this is the helper or the giver, right? This is the need to be needed. And these are incredibly emotionally present people who can actually pick up on the emotional intelligence, the emotional needs, the emotional frequencies of others better than they can actually own that in themselves. And these folks simply desire to be a source of love and a source of inclusion and a source of acceptance. And somehow they suffer this fear that they're not loved for who they are.
So true.
And this is played out in their lives because they give and they keep giving and giving and giving. And they're afraid that the positive responses and how people sort of refract and reflect that back to them is simply because of what we receive from folks who are 2s, not because 2s are so lovable. Type 3, this is sometimes called the achiever or the succeeder. This is the need to succeed. These folks are very often, they're really low-key, sort of quietly competitive, but they generally will always sort of emerge into positions of leadership. And this isn't because they want to be in control, and this isn't because they have to have the power. It's because they work really well with a wide range or a wide spectrum of folks. And this is part of how they suffer, that they don't know their inherent worth and value, so they perform, they pivot, they wear masks to be accepted by everyone, and they can actually mirror the energy back to whoever it is that they're with. Now, for all of us, and type 3 is one of the types that show us this is how we all sort of suffer not being loved perfectly. Wow. And so, again, it's unfortunate because if you're dominant in type 3 and the sort of cliche is, hey, you're the achiever, you have this need to succeed, fundamentally it's not about success. It's about love, and it's about being loved. And so for folks who are dominant in type 3, there's a real misunderstanding here because a lot of 3s can't feel their own heart, so they use attention and recognition and affirmation as a proxy for starting to feel their heart because they've mistaken this in their childhood as love. And they know it's not real love, and so that's what continues this drive there. All right, now we get to type 4, and sometimes the 4s are called the romantic or the tragic romantic, sometimes called the individualist. The 4s are exceptional, and they are the exception to every rule. Right, they have this need to be unique, and it's not because they're contrarians at heart. It's because they see the significance in everything in the world, but sadly sometimes not in themselves. And so the 4 suffers this loss of personal identity, always wondering, where did I come from? Where do I belong? Who do I belong to? And will anyone ever see me? Will anyone ever understand me? And this pain creates this profound longing in the 4, this yearning for all things beautiful, that they would be aligned. And this creates a real idealism in there, which then leads to the suffering of the 4, because they've idealized beauty in a way that may not ever actually be attainable, which isn't to say they shouldn't pursue it. They shouldn't try to realize it.
Right.
But it creates a dissatisfaction, which then creates these polarities of tremendous joy and tremendous sorrow that they continue to find themselves sort of vacillating in between. Right?
Yeah. No,
Then we get over.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you were talking on the podcast about the 4 and the 4's perfect day and that idea of like bliss and tragedy wrapped up in a singular day. And it's kind of, it spoke volumes into me personally, because as I look at it, you have an eloquence about the way you can speak about the types, because I think as you're talking about it, a lot of people will just look at the negative stereotypes of all of them. And so it's fascinating just to hear from a different perspective how beautiful it can be. So anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes we focus more on sort of these sin tendencies or these addictive patterns that types get stuck in. And again, I simply see that as the fasteners to the mask that we wear. I simply see these addictions, these patterns, these sin tendencies, not as essence, not as who you really are, but again, ways that you stay asleep to who you truly are. So if we can't come at this with compassion, right, I think we've really missed the point here.
Yep, amen. So the 5.
Yeah, so the poor 5s, these, just like the 4s, these 2 types are often so misunderstood, right? The 2s, the 3s, and the 4s, these are heart-centered people, right? And when you know this about yourself, you know that you really can practice your greatest levels of discernment through finding fluency in your emotions and your feelings. But here, when we start at type 5, 6, and 7, these are the head types, right? And the head types have this most accessible emotion of anxiety or distress. The head types are really the great forecasters of the Enneagram. And so what type 5s are trying to forecast here are solutions, are answers. So folks who are in type 5 are sometimes called the observer, the investigator. I love it. In Spanish, they sometimes call this the theorist. These folks are incredible at analyzing, at sussing out answers, at getting to the bottom of everything. And in fact, it's sad for the 5 because the 5 is maybe the most cerebral of all the types. And this doesn't necessarily imply intelligence, but they are often really intelligent and so intelligent that they sometimes feel that they have to withdraw, that they don't fit in socially, that, you know, they formulate a conversation in their mind before they sort of speak it out. And so I sometimes joke around that it's as if he can parent. And so this can sometimes come across really clumsy in social settings. But you know what? They're usually right, because when the 5 shows up and they bring something out, it has such lucid clarity and precision that we have to listen. It's just that because they're so in their head, they're often really withdrawn, and you see this with types 4, types 5, and even type 9. This is the social stance. It's the detaching, right? The 4 detaches, so that will step towards them because the 4 wants connections. The 5 detaches because the 5 needs security, stability, and they think they're going to get there through finding solutions and answers. Now, type 6 is called the skeptic, the loyalist. This is the need to be secure, and 6s are constantly forecasting dangers. They're threat forecasters. I mean, they double down on their fear as contingency planning, and this is how they love us, because if they can go to the worst-case scenario in their minds, then if that ever happens in real life, they've already been there, and they're going to help the people that they care for find a way out, find the sort of exit strategy or the exit path. They, sadly, though, constantly second-guess themselves. 6s constantly doubt themselves, and so 6s are always looking for an external authority to reassure them that they're okay and that it's going to be okay. But the holy idea, which is in each of the Enneagram types have this, which is our unobstructed view of reality, for the 6 is holy faith. And so when a 6 is centered and rooted in who they really are, there's not a more faithful person on the Enneagram. Now, type 7 is the enthusiast. This is the need to avoid pain. And 7s are ridiculous. They're playful. They're curious. They're imaginative. They're resilient. They're really fast thinkers. And this is partly how they're coping with their own inner suffering, because what they really don't want to do is press into their own inner pain. And so what they'd rather do is project that forward by being on sort of a perpetual vacation from it. And so they take everyone else along, and they're amazing. They're hilarious. They just bring such levity and youthfulness to everything. That's great, except for that continues to keep them distracted. And so for the 7, the real invitation here is to press into their pain, to allow their pain to actually help them find their life. And when they can, there's such a sobriety there. And that sobriety, again, is that what they have is enough. And so they don't need more experiences, and they don't need more friends, and they don't need more freedom, but they can actually rest in what it is that they hold, and that is holding them.
Man.
Now, the 8 is called the challenger. This is the need to be against. And 8s are too much, right? And this is where we enter sort of the body types of the Enneagram, the gut types, 8s, 9s, and 1s. And the too muchness of life for the body types causes the 8 to fight back. And so, man, if you've been in relationship with someone who's an A, if you work with someone who's an A, you usually feel a little bit bullied by them. You might feel a little bit beat up by them because they just have to take the counterpoint. They just have to sort of provoke and pick fights all the time, and that's one of their love languages. Sadly, they're doing this unbeknownst to themselves on a subconscious level as a way of building trust. And so if an 8 is in your life and this need to be against comes across and you start to feel sort of pushed on, actually push back. Because what the 8's doing here is they're testing how thick the ice is between you and them. They're trying to figure out, can they trust you, right? And so if they're a little vulgar or foul, if they use inappropriate language and that offends you and you walk away, super. That was efficient for them. But if they show you who they are and you actually aren't afraid, or you don't sort of cower back, or you don't sort of walk away, man, the 8 chooses and then will defend. And so 8s are great champions for social justice. 8s pick the side of the underdog. And this is also out of the early holding environment of an 8 who had to grow up too soon, whose childhood was, in a sense, a little bit accelerated. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect that child that never had the chance to come out or grow up by presenting as really tough, really big, larger than life, really bold, right? And they're the initiators of the Enneagram. Once you get an 8 started, man, you do not want to stop them.
Yeah.
And then finally you have type 9. They're at the top of the circle. And like I said, this is sometimes called the mediator, the peacemaker, the arbitrator. This is simply the need to avoid. And this need to avoid is actually the malformed way that the 9 attempts to love and be loved in the world, right? There's something in the childhood of the 9 that felt intrusive. There's something in the childhood of the 9 that felt bigger than them. And in specific, it had to do with their own needs. And so as a little boy or as a little girl, a 9 looked at their needs, what they wanted. And then they looked at the needs, the pronounced needs, the real needs in their early holding environment, maybe their family, and said, actually, my parents' needs are more important than mine. My siblings' needs are more important than mine. My family's needs are more important than my needs are. And so I'm just going to take what I want, and I'm going to put it in my back pocket. I'm not going to set it down. I'm not going to walk away from it, but I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to reduce it. I'm going to make everyone else more important than me. And so this need to avoid for the 9 sort of gets played out then in how they project this externalizing of mediating harmony and peacefulness in their environment as a way of distracting them from not looking at what's been fragmented in their own heads and hearts. And for the 9 to do that actually makes them feel a little selfish. And for the 9 to actually own and censor their needs makes them feel a little bit bad for even having it. And so rather than looking there and seeing what maybe needs some attention or what could be lacking, they keep giving themselves away in a different way than a 2 would, but also in the same way that a 2 might, as a way of not sort of going inward. And so 9s can bring the energy down. 9s can hold tensions together. They can build remarkable bridges between extremely polarized ideas or people. But again, this is because they're not doing this for themselves inside. they'd rather project this outside. And so this is how they suffer. And this is a real lament because, you know, the nine's holy idea is love. And this is what we see on the Enneagram. At the top of the circle there, that the 9 is the archetype of all human character structure. And that when a 9 aligns with that holy idea, that unobstructed view of reality of love, there's nothing they can accomplish because their virtue is right action. And when you take right action and love and you hold this together, right, they become really an unstoppable force.
Man. Gosh, so much there. The Sacred Enneagram, your book, on the phone, author Christopher Hewett, and I'm just going to call you Chris. And there's so many questions coming in, of course, from people who have just now discovered the Enneagram going, okay, wait, I took it. I'm reading it. I have tendencies a couple different ways. What is the next step? What would you say to somebody who maybe is listening to this and then decided, hey, I'm going to take this to see, you know, because, wow, you're speaking to me in a way that people haven't in a while. What would you say is next for that person?
Well, I think a few things. I think, number one, if you cannot self-observe, then you cannot self-correct. And I think for all of us, sort of coming to terms with our type is the first step here of self-observation. It helps me get a clear snapshot of what I'm contending with in terms of my own sadness, my own pain, my own addictions, my own self-caused suffering, right? And so I think when you learn the Enneagram, what it immediately triggers in a lot of us is this really deep sort of self-inquiry process. And that's important and that's crucial. And so do that. But do that for yourself, because what our tendency is we come across this, it gets really interesting, it makes sense. Suddenly I feel like, whoa, here's some framework for who I've always been, but maybe I've never had the sort of structure to understand it, and now you want to share it. And I think there's a little bit of a danger here in trying to type your friends, type your partner, type your family members. Do your own work, right? This is why we stay stuck, because we're trying to fix everybody else. We're trying to fix the world without ever really going inward and owning up the responsibility of what's still wounded and broken here.
Yeah.
Secondly, once you've done your own work of self-inquiry, self-discovery, self-observation, then in my book there, the Sacred Enneagram, I actually offer 9 unique paths for spiritual growth. Yeah. And this sort of comes out of this notion that one of my teachers, Russ Hudson, sometimes says is that the Enneagram is less about 9 types of people and more about 9 paths to God. And so how does this work? Like, how do you actually align who you are with how you pray, with how you grow spiritually?
Yeah.
I grew up in a sort of large evangelical megachurch environment, and look, it was fabulous, and it was just what I needed at that time in my life. But now as an adult, I can sort of look back on that and say, whoa, that was really teed up and tricked out for people who are ENFJs, or I'm sorry, ENFJs on the Myers-Briggs. And it's like, I'm not an ENFJ, so like that only went so far.
Right.
I can only sort of walk in, do group karaoke for 20 to 40 minutes, hear another 20 to 40-minute lecture, pay the cover, and walk out with never having to interact with anybody else for so long. But at a certain point, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And for a certain person, that will work fabulously. What I tried to do in the book, my Enneagram book, was to say, look, if there's 9 ways of being in the world, then there's 9, at least, ways of nurturing spirituality. And what might work for you if you're a 4, what might work for you if you're 9, might actually not work for me if I'm an 8. So what could some of the handles be? What could some of the rails be? And how could we really find some momentum here once we self-observe, once we know who we are, then to understand what it is that we need to help nurture and nourish our spiritual paths forward.
Man, I love everything you're talking about, especially talking about the idea of self-reflecting, because people chime in and are going, dude, as a Christian, you know, it's like we're called to be selfless, and so we're always busy working on the needs of others, and we realize through being burnt out, realizing your marriage is in a terrible spot, realizing your work relationships suck, you know, whatever it is, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I really have been doing a poor job running this game called life. And so what you're saying is speaking, so many people chiming in left and right on Facebook, the live line, YouTube, because you're kind of blowing minds right now with what you're saying as far as taking care of yourself and discovering things. I know one book, Celebration of Discipline, man. I talk about that one somewhat regularly. Richard Foster, I know he began writing that like 20 something years ago for that similar idea. Like, man, there's got to be more to this, and that one talks, fasting and praying and meditating and words that you're going, are you allowed to say meditating in a Baptist church? So I absolutely love that. So okay, man, I wish we had more. We have like 10 more minutes, so I'm like, I want to try and get through some of these questions because people chiming in on the importance of wings and as we're talking self-reflection, how do you discover what your quote wing is? What is that? And are you pigeonholing yourself more, or how do you figure that out?
Sure. So there's all this sort of goofy insider lingo that I tried to also sort of translate out in my book to make it real accessible for folks. But the wings, if this is completely new to you and you're like, wait a second, so there's 9 types of people, and you wrap these 9 types of people around a circle, and you give them a number, then think of that circle as a color wheel, and think of the numbers on either side of you as sort of shades of that color, right? And so maybe you're like, hey, I'm not red, man. Maybe I'm a little more rusty or maroony or Cabernet-y red. Well, this is what happens. You take the number beside you, and so if you're a 6, right, your wings would be the 5 and the 7, and you sort of blend that into the essence of 6. And so there's all kinds of theories on these wings, right? There's a theory that says that you're born your type and you're born with a wing. And actually, I read this super nerdy article in the Enneagram Monthly a few months back from a Colombian doctor who says, if you show me your fingerprints, I can tell you what your type and your wing is.
Wow.
There's other theories that say the wings don't exist. There's some people that think you can actually access both wings. And there's some people that think the more you mature, the less your dominant type is visible and the more your wings come forward. I like this. Michael Goldberg, who's a guy who actually thinks that the Odyssey, right, Homer's great epic story of homecoming, actually shows all Enneagram types in order, starting at point 9, working counterclockwise around the circle. And this is illustrated in all the stops that Odysseus makes, all these islands and all these creatures that he interacts with on his way home from the Trojan Wars. Michael Goldberg says this: your clockwise wing is your allied point, and this is really a reach to grow into a little bit more of who you are. And your counterclockwise wing is your shadow point, and this is where you hide some of the best things from yourself that you don't want to see, but actually recognizing them helps bring them forward. My sense is this: whatever your theory on the wings is, work with them. Once you know your type, start to work with the types on either side of you. Reach to one or both to sort of help bring forward more of what's beautiful and fabulous about you, because it's all there and you have access to all of it. It's just that a lot of it is sort of parked in our shadows and we don't really come to terms with it. Right?
Yeah. No, and I think, again, speaking to our Christian audience, as a Christian, you grow up in church and you're in the Word, and it's like, again, we're called to the selflessness, and our identity is found in Christ. But when that's all you've got, that's obviously the core foundation. But when that's all it is, and you've never really taken the time to understand, well, who am I? Why have I been created by this incredible God? And cool, my identity is in Christ, but what does that even look like? And how am I supposed to function as a human being without having any idea of who I am? Because I don't matter. I got to be selfless, and my core is in Christ. So no work to be done here. And I think that's why we become shells of ourselves and kind of hollow out and die. Honestly, of course, this is coming from a 4 who. I read it, and the more I'm studying and realizing, it's like, to me, that's everything, is understanding the purpose of why I'm here and what God has created me for, because there's got to be more than just the day to day. So
yeah. And I think that's what's amazing about this. Like I said, I really, really, really do think that your Enneagram type is I said this before, I'll say it 100 times, a compassionate sketch of possibilities of who you can become. It's just surrendering to that, right? It's just saying yes to that. And you know this, we're our own worst enemies. We're the ones who limit ourselves the most. Yeah. And you said something a few moments ago that I think is really important. It's partly because we don't feel like, and especially those of us who are socialized in a religious environment, that it's okay to love ourselves, that we're actually supposed to love others better or first. But you know this, in the sacred scripture, it says to love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah. And so if you're not practicing self-love, you have no business trying to love anyone else out there in the world because you don't know how. And in fact, look, if you're a decent human being, you're guilty of this. But for those of us who've done a better job of loving someone else than we have ourselves, you lack credibility. You lack consistency. There's no integrity in that. Yeah. And so, look, this isn't selfish. If you don't love yourself, you do not know how to love. Yeah. If you really feel like this work is narcissistic or selfish, then you're limiting your own transformation. And my wife says this all the time, to the extent that we are transformed, the world will be transformed. And so if you want to fix the world, if you want to make it a better place to live in, start on yourself. Make yourself the best version of who you are. And that is your most important and generous contribution to the new we, to who we're all yearning to become together, right?
Yeah, amen. Dude, the great theologian Michael Jackson once said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Amen.
You have to. You have to.
You do.
People feel so selfish, and there's nothing selfish about it. In fact, the most selfish thing you can do is to not love yourself. The most selfish thing you can do is to hide yourself and to really limit us from receiving the gift of what's amazing about you.
Yeah, dude. All right, we're coming short on time, but Dex and I as a team, you know, Dex, you've spoken so much in this last hour.
I'm just letting it all sink in.
I know, right? He took it. He's a 9. I'm a 4. We need to be a better team because we have to do this.
I don't think 9s and 4s can be together.
No, did you hear what he said? We're unstoppable, bro. This is my dream relationship. A 9 and a 4, I need you.
I don't know, dude.
Can you tell us a little bit about the 9 and the 4 and how we have to coexist together?
Yes. Well, that's great because you both at least understand your need for boundaries, right? Yes. 9s and 4s are both withdrawn and detached social styles. So you, like I said, the 4s step back so that they'll be seen. Mm-hmm. The 9s actually step back because they really need a sense of autonomy. And so to honor the autonomy of the 9 is actually what is going to allow the 9 to give more of themselves in relationship. Now, the conflict avoidance styles here are mismatched. And so the 4, this is the emotional intensity style. When something upsets the 4, they just got to get it off their chest. They just have to discharge it. And that's how you think you're going to de-escalate conflict. The 9 de-escalates conflict through positive outlook, through reframing, through trying to find the bright side, the upside, to looking at it through sort of a different lens. And if you two ever have conflict, which I don't imagine you would, it may be because you're not receiving the gift of what the other is offering.
Did you hear that? You're not receiving my gift, bro. Receive it.
So the 9 will probably have to receive the gift of emotional intensity, and the 4 will actually have to learn to actually see the bright side, and that will really help de-escalate maybe some of the places you two would be at and pass on. So but I don't know. I don't know either of you, so this is all conjecture.
Dude, you nailed it. Because what he'll do is he'll run away from me and go binge Netflix for like 2 days and not even text me back. And
I'm recharging my batteries.
Yeah, okay, whatever. And I, on the other hand, am just the high-intensity need to share everything at all times, always.
I'm giving so much of myself to you all the time, I have to recharge myself.
So, to me, it just feels like you don't want to be with me, okay? That's what it feels like when you run away from me.
Because you're so needy.
This is so true, though, Chris. I'm not even joking. Like, this is us to a T,
It says, I dislike clingy or needy people is what a 7 is. That's exactly what I am.
Well, I think what you're both actually, it's so sweet because it's so honest. The 4's fundamental social need is actually for connection.
Yeah,
and so
bro.
that might sometimes come across as a little smothering.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, the 9's sort of fundamental social need in relationships is for autonomy, which, man, that's a real mismatch for the 4. But like I said, give him his sense of autonomy, and he'll give you what you need to connect with, and you'll both be way happier.
We don't need to hang out every weekend, all right?
Yes, we do. I need you, dog. We are Dex and Steve-O. Like, our
I
roles
want
don't
to
exist without each
fantasize
other.
and be a dreamer
Yeah,
while you are freaking out over, your life and not understanding it.
Okay, you know what's funny though is our ego fixation. Mine would be melancholy fantasizing. Yours is very similar, daydreaming, like indolent. So like, come on, bro. We both, except you tend to skew more lazy and binge watch television, and I just get sad thinking about what will never be because you just stay in your room and you won't pull the trigger.
Whoa.
Am I right, Chris? Am I right, bro?
There are some echoes there, and I would say for the 9, it's maybe a little bit more self-forgetting. So you could sit in front of the television for 9 hours and forget what it actually is that you should be doing. While for the 4, that melancholy is maybe a little bit more of a sort of yearning for what you've idealized, and that's again the source of your frustration, that you may have over-idealized what is never possible, especially from people who are 9. So
yeah, because Steve-O doesn't listen to me. He doesn't take me serious.
No, shut up. Let him talk. He
I'm
said
just
he'll let
saying.
you off the hook, bro.
You don't listen, bro. You don't take me serious. You just think I Netflix every day.
Oh, man.
See, I'm idealizing that we could be the best couple in the universe, but you would rather just watch Netflix and run away from
That's
me.
all you think I am,
we're not
bro.
Gonna be,
That's all you think I am.
That's what we're not.
I'm an accomplished Uber and Lyft driver. Okay? All right?
Have you ever met a more dysfunctional team than Dex and I, Chris? You can be honest.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay, good. Good. This makes me happy.
My whole life was dysfunctional teams.
Yeah. You guys are great. You guys are normal.
So here's a real question. I got to ask a real question. We got like 2 minutes left, and I'm going, dude, I want to spend my life with you, man. As a 4, looking at situations, you talked about that over-idealizing, like, hey, this is a situation that I may never get everything out of it. But I've fantasized it in my brain about how this could be the thing, the one thing. How does a 4 overcome that if they constantly truly believe like, hey, I know this could be everything, but it doesn't feel like it is right now? How do you move on from that, especially as a 4 when you're like, no, this is it, bro. Trust me, this is significant, and I believe this.
Yeah, this is really, really, really hard work for the 4, and I'll say this with tremendous compassion. It's really hard to be a 4. You really are misunderstood. In fact, in the Enneagram literature, you often get beat up the worst because you're so hard to sort of wrap framework around. But I would say, and I would also say this, sorry for those that you live and work with, 4s can also be the hardest partner because they're restless, and there's a profound restlessness in there because of what they continually yearn for and wish could be realized. But that's actually the invitation for growth. It's actually saying that you already have everything you need, but you actually have to go inward and find it for yourself. You can't have somebody else try to see it for you, try to validate it for you, try to show it back to you. But you have to look in your own mirror. You have to see that you are beautiful, that you are beloved, and that you are a source of love. And when you can align with that, then what comes forward is the virtue of the 4, which is equanimity, which is emotional balance, which is, in that little book by Kehil Gibran called The Prophet, I think it's best summarized in that little chapter on joy and sorrow, that it's the very things that bring you joy that will actually cause you to feel your sorrow, because it's the very things that you're sorrowful for that reintroduce you to joy.
Interesting.
And it's living in the in-between and not being pulled to either extreme.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome
Hang
stuff,
on the
man.
line, man. Hang on the line. We gotta call it a show,
Yeah,
but
hold on,
don't
okay?
go anywhere.
All right, dude.
His name is
great
Chris
guy.
Hewett. He is the author of The Sacred Enneagram, and if you didn't get this whole hour, it's on demand. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook.
He's a psychic. He knows all about.
Shut up.
He nailed you and me. All right, guys, we gotta go. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
That's all we got. There ain't no more. That's right. Time is tight. It's the end of the show.
Here's a hotspot with Skip Heitzig that takes us on a tour of your bank account.
You can tell a lot about a person's spirituality by what that person does with money. Just